I'm muted. I started it off muted. There we go. Just start this shit off muted. Why not? Why not start it off muted? Good to see you guys. Of course, that's how it got started. Couple quick announcements as we're here, and many you guys can remind people as they roll in. Let's see, what day was it? I think it was yesterday. I've started taking like Saturdays off. Just I put my phone away. My phone sat in my room on Friday, just so that I don't connect with any news. And then if I leave the house, obviously I'll take my phone with me if somebody needs to get a hold of me. But I turned on TikTok yesterday morning, and I was notified that I was no longer part of what they call the TikTok Creator Rewards Program. For anybody here that's a TikTok creator, you know what that is. It's the pennies that they pay you for video views. Now, TikTok, unlike every other streaming platform, they don't pay you for views while you're streaming. They don't run ads, so they don't. There's nothing. You could stream on YouTube in front of 50,000 people for 45 hours, and if nobody gifts you, if you don't have gifts on, you don't make anything. And whatever, that's TikTok's prerogative. One thing we realized is that the people who were watching our show, generally speaking, did not want to do gifts through. God, my hoodie's all messed up. They didn't want to do gifts through the TikTok shop. We learned this when we were doing a boycott, and we learned that most people would rather just donate to the creators. And so we went in that direction, like so many other creators have gone. Since Donald Trump won election, and since TikTok started getting involved with Donald Trump, I've seen an incredible increase in the amount of videos of mine that were demonetized or taken down for like insane things. Like just they don't make any sense. Videos that previously had been up, videos that had hundreds of thousands of views, suddenly overnight demonetized. And so there is no longer a way for us to make money on TikTok outside of gifts, and I don't like the gifts. I fully expect at some point TikTok will force our hand and they will just boot us. They'll take away my live access. I fully expect that to happen. It's clear that right now what they're trying to do is they're approaching sellers, is they're trying to monetize cut down on revenue paying out and increase the revenue coming in. So they will throttle traffic to people who don't get a lot of gifts, and frankly, I don't care about that. I don't want to do that. I think it's honestly so unethical to tell a creator, "Hey, we built this app where you can come and you can share your content, and you'll get 30% of the revenue." That's essentially what they give us, about 33% of the revenue. And then if you grow, you get growth bonuses. So I think the most I ever got revenue-wise was somewhere between like 40 and 46% of the revenue. It's their business model. It's their business model going forward. Great if you're doing if you're hosting lives, if you're doing TikTok shop, if you're doing battles, great. I hope that all the power to you. They created these third-party entities that are supposed to represent you and help you grow. And those people get a third of your gifts. They just get a third of it. If you sign up with one of those entities, they get a third of it. I've been with two of them. Not once did they ever do anything for me. Not once. They don't drive traffic to you. They can't connect you to TikTok. They can't help you with any of this stuff. That being said, so I'm not trying to be a complainer. I just want you guys to know that for Jen and I, as we look at this business, TikTok is no longer our focus. It can't be our focus because I fully believe that within the next month or two, TikTok is going to remove my live access. I will be shocked if I have a platform on TikTok too much longer. That being said, we do have YouTube and Twitch that are streaming. And because of that, I am going to try and focus a bit more on the chats from specifically from TikTok and Twitch. I want to see what you guys have to say over there, and we want to generate our content based on the users of places we can go that will actually pay us for the content. We don't have to rely on you guys paying our bills. So that's the direction we're going. So I apologize if you're in TikTok right now during the chat if you are feeling ignored. There's other places you can watch us, and the video quality looks a little bit better. I believe you can play it on the background. I don't know with Twitch. I know with YouTube, if you have a premium, you can play it in the background. You can use it as a podcast. So I hope to see you guys over here on Twitch and YouTube. And those that are here on Twitch and YouTube, Groovy Redhead, I see Jazz Maniac, Maxwell, None You Goddamn Business, BT Mally, Bree, Abby, Bowsy, Andy Meows. Yeah, I see you guys here, and I hope that anybody who wants to engage will be here on YouTube and Twitch, and we'll go from there. I have not heard from Jen this morning. I don't know if she is here or not, but if she's not, that's okay. I know there is, I'm aware that there is some drama happening in the TikTok world right now. So she may be dealing with that. I don't know. Let me check my messages to see if anything. Huh. Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Oh, hey. Hi, Jen.
I'm here. I'm just all over the place, but yeah, so I'm here.
It's a dramatic morning from what I understand.
It always is. All right. So like you mentioned,
real quick, let me ask a question. Frankly, we are going to handle guests the same for right now, similar to how Jen is. We're not taking guest requests, but if we do have guests, we'll run them through Discord or Zoom or Google Voice. Okay, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, just the same thing that you're already saying. Please, all the links for the other socials that we have are in the link tree in the bio. So please go over, and if you have a preference, we would like YouTube because it's more friendly that way. We've got a rhythm of content that we're getting out on a regular basis for you guys over there.
By the way, shout out Hoofy and Ash for making content, and Jen for like stepping on the gas. If you guys are following the YouTube channel, there's a bunch of new stuff. They're clipping the show. So some of your segments that you might want to share with your friends, those are clipped now. So Hoofy and Ash, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, they've been doing a fantastic job. So we've got a goal of trying to post two videos a day is the goal. We'll see how it goes. We do have the memberships on YouTube. We've got a couple different tiers. So, and if we can have if we get to 500 membership subscribers over onto YouTube, we're going to get a calendar. So,
I'm like eating healthier because I know that I'm like, I better look like the best dad bod I possibly can get by whenever we hit 500 subscribers, because I know that it's not going to be me in a hoodie the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, you better get snatched. That's all. I mean, you don't want to disappoint the fans. So.
Oh, there's Jen's. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. People were asking to turn down you, and I realized that I was turning down the wrong thing. Go ahead and talk now, Jen.
Talking.
All right, guys. Sorry. I hope that's better.
Talking. Yeah. So I'm using my phone mic, but so it's louder than probably other times. But yeah, if you have it turned up high on your side too. So, all right, I'll let you do it.
All right, Jen. Thank you very much. Like Jen said, the pay links are below us. I forgot to pull those up. Goddamn, there is. I forgot. Like, I almost forgot what it was like to live during Trump administration, and it is just like a never-ending sieve of bullshit. And you're like, it's almost you have enough content to last you a lifetime, but trying to figure out what's important, trying to figure out what is smoke and mirrors. That's the difficult part. We had a conversation with the research team last night of just like trying to figure out and making sure that as we go through our content, we're not falling for the smoke and mirrors. So like the more trivial stuff we'll still cover because we want to laugh. But we're going to try and sort through that stuff for everybody. A couple donations came in already. Jocelyn says, fuck TikTok, love watching from YouTube. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jocelyn. Good to have you over here on YouTube. Bree says, good morning, Poppy. Fuck TikTok. They allow schmotzy lives. Come to Twitch and YouTube, everyone. We're having fun over here. If you do, Jay may just come in me. All right. I don't think that was part of the deal. Shout out to everybody who has religious trauma and gets offended like me. Max says, would much rather support you directly. Anyways, thank you, Max. Okay, I think that's it for the day. But again, if you're subscribed on TikTok and you're worried about losing your emojis, if you come over to YouTube, we've got emojis over here as well. We have membership levels over here as well. I believe we have one the same as TikTok, and we have 4 different membership levels. So there's more stuff to do over here. There's more stuff to do over here. All right, let's jump right into it. Let me pull up my outline. Here's what I first wanted to cover. I don't remember who sent this to me. I apologize. I should have written it down. But let's see, where did it go? This is I think that one of the cool things about comedy is that it transcends all topics. And this comedian here, his name is Dustin Nickerson, and he's tired of the current regime, and he wants to tell you guys about it.
I don't want to go on some big
let me turn up the volume, desktop audio here. Here we go.
I don't want to go on some big politically divisive rant right now, but I am going to say one thing, all right? This week especially. The group that is in charge right now, I'm so tired of them. I'm done with it. I can't do it. No, don't cheer, don't boo. Just let me go on my little rant. I'm so tired of it. 8 years, whether you win or lose, that's all I hear about all the time. I'm tired of your dumb red hats and your rigged results, man. I hate the Chiefs so much. If they win again,
Fuck
I'm
the
storming
Chiefs.
the Capitol.
Yeah.
I am of Missouri, Jefferson City. I'm doing it, and then hoping Josh Allen pardons me.
Listen, if there's any Chief fans here, congratulations on your win. You know that the NFL cheats for you. You know that they do. It's amazing to see Patrick Mahomes get more calls than Tom Brady ever did, which I never thought would be done. So fuck the Chiefs and everything they stand for. Bills Mafia, I appreciate you letting me be part of the party yesterday and part of the bandwagon. We are Josh Allen forever around here. I'm tired of the Chiefs. Tired of the goddamn. I'm tired of Patrick Mahomes. I'm tired of Brittany Mahomes. I'm tired of Patrick Mahomes' brother, whose name I forgot, Jackson Mahomes. I'm tired of. I like Andy Reid. I'm tired of Andy Reid. I'm tired of the color red. I'm tired of all of it. The blue team should have won, and they definitely got cheated. And I will tolerate no Josh Allen slander here. I also want to show a clip of Tim Dillon, who. Not normally, I wouldn't say normally like a very political person, kind of a confusing person politically, which we like about Tim Dillon. He's a very shock-oriented comedian. But this is Tim Dillon here just clearly defending Elon Musk. And I think we need to listen to Tim Dillon because this is the best defense I've heard so far.
Really mattered.
Is that right?
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Yeah, so people are mad at this gesture. All this gesture means is Heil Hitler. This is all this gesture means. This is a gesture signifying your support for Hitler. Hitler was a politician in Germany in the 1940s. People had varying degrees of, some people really liked what he did. A lot of people were not into it. And that's fair. And I think when we look back on history, a lot of, now, you know what I mean? It's like things that happened then, like we'd never do now. And I think that's Hitler, that we run into that a little bit with Hitler, where it's like at the time, you know what I mean? It's like the word Oriental. It's a no-no now. But back then it wasn't, So I think this Hitler thing is just one of those things that, he's just heiling Hitler. And people seem really upset about that. I think they think that means something else. He's just saying, I like Hitler. That's not...
For the record, for anybody who thought that's serious commentary, that was not serious commentary. I thought that was clever. I saw that this morning. Full disclosure, I watched that on the toilet this morning, and I was dying laughing. And frankly, it helped me have a more comfortable bowel movement. And shout out Tim Dillon for that. I think we got to keep laughing. That's the thing. you can either be devastated by MAGA or you can laugh through the devastation. It's the same thing. It's the same feeling. It's just that some of us deal with our deal with our emotions a little bit differently. When the world is imploding, some of us are just like, fuck it, let's laugh. Like, let's laugh at it. So that may not be for everybody, but it absolutely is for me. That type of humor definitely for me this morning. I appreciate. Yeah, like that's the thing about all these folks. Like it's just that they're pro Schmittler. It's nothing else. It's just that they're pro Schmittler. nothing nefarious about that guy. I took the Browns to the Super Bowl during that. That is absolutely right. And just as a simple reminder, like if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? It's not. It's just not. It's just not different than being a Republican. LARPing and being a Republican are the exact same thing. You will never convince me otherwise. This was fucking stupid. This might have also been a bathroom video. I saw this yesterday, and I hate when I see stupid things alone. So I appreciate you guys being here to watch stupid things with me.
Behind me, 3 weeks ago, that hill was green. For the last 10 years, you've been told.
And if anybody's wondering, the reason it's not green anymore is fire. And fire burns things, just so we're clear.
That Donald Trump is an egotistical, wannabe fascist dictator who only cares about himself.
Correct.
I want you to watch this clip from yesterday where Trump came to LA to address the fire response.
Okay, so this is the wannabe fascist dictator, or he said fascist, but I think he meant fascist dictator, who really cares about people. And we say that he doesn't, but just watch this clip. Watch how much he cares about the people in this clip.
We're bringing our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And we will clear the lots. Absolutely. In the city and in the county. We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
Months? Is it like we that's the answer that we got, and that's what we're all hanging on?
Yes.
So if you're telling us now faster, is it 6 months? Is it, I mean, all of our lives, rents, all this stuff is weighing on this.
6 months is no good.
And
what they're talking about is a quote that's saying that like some of these disaster areas could take up to 18 months. You have to reinforce areas. Now that you've had not only the fires, but you've also had rain, you have potential for mudslides. You have lost structures all around there. So some of this stuff is going to take more than 18 months. Like some of this stuff is going to take years. And Trump, just like, because he cares so much about people, and not because he just wants to come in here and say, I've got a better option. He's doing the Elon thing. He's like, even 6 months is too long. Bitch, have you ever built a house? And these are massive houses. And it does take permitting, and you do need inspections because people will cut corners, especially after emergencies. People will take liberties. The thing that Trump is doing here that is so bizarre, and it's kind of the Republican way now, is anything that stands in your way of accomplishing what you want to do, anything that makes things take a little bit longer, is just bureaucratic overreach, and it should be removed. Because what they want, like they want that quick credit. Trump wants the quick credit. The builders want to be able to build and start getting their money back. The owners of the houses obviously just want to be back in their homes. And so you have Karen Bass here setting out expectations, basically saying, we're bringing everybody together into one room. As we rebuild, there will be like a centralized communication for you to make it easier. And Trump's just, because he cares so much about the people, he says 6 months is too short. And then he's going to lay out this perfect plan he has.
the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can.
You
And
should
they are-
let
All right, I just need to get that part out there. The people are willing to clean out their own debris. Trump is like this new idea from Republicans is that there are hundreds of people, thousands of people in the Los Angeles area who are willing to clear the debris themselves rather than wait through the process for the city to do it or to hire private contractors. And she's like, yeah, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. And Trump doesn't even hear it because Trump wants to make them look weak and ineffective. In a time of a national emergency, all he wants to do is be the one guy fighting. He wants Karen Bass to look bad. He wants Gavin Newsom to look bad. That's his whole plan. But listen to how many times Trump says something that she agrees with, and he just ignores it, and MAGA's going to run with it like she didn't agree with him.
Them do it because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
The people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do.
Did we get booted from TikTok? Did we just get booted from TikTok? Jen, did we just get booted from TikTok? Sorry. I told you. I fucking told you. I told you they're coming after us. It took 1 day. 1 day. Banned from TikTok. Jen, will you? I guess we can appeal that if you want. I don't know how to even refresh it.
Yeah, banned.
What was the ban for?
I don't know. I'm going to look right now.
I can look.
I'll look and see.
That's
I don't even know what they're talking about.
What'd they get me for? Live violation. Here we go. Hate speech.
What?
Maybe because we said maybe Tim Dillon's. I don't know. I'll appeal it. Hate speech. I told you.
That's funny.
I told you guys. TikTok's coming. Everybody who doesn't play along with TikTok right now, they're going to be booted from the app. And good. Make all those investors that are going to try and buy TikTok all Trump's friends. Make them think it's real valuable, and then watch what happens when they try to enforce it. That is crazy. That's crazy. Well, fuck them. We're here today. Let's keep going with this. Let me go back for a second. I just got confused.
The stuff away, and your site will be...
Oh, yeah, that's Trump saying that what really, you could just go to your house that is burnt to the ground. These are massive houses, by the way, and that within 24 hours, your lot will be looking brand new if you just don't hire a contractor. You just do it yourself.
It'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
And by the way, some of these places, because they're worried about toxic fumes and leaks and gas lines, and some of these places are quarantined. Some of these places are roped off. This is what republicanism is now. Republicanism is just like everything scientific you don't believe anymore. Like freedom it takes precedent over everything. So these people are like, let us go back into our neighborhoods. Well, you might die. Like you could die. Well, we want to see our burned down house. All right. Like that's what the anti-vax Donald Trump MAGA movement has become. No, whatever is true, you just pretend it's not. Whenever something is slightly challenging, you just blame the government and you act very entitled and you push through anyways. That's what this lady's saying here. She's like, hey, we just want to go back. Yeah, it's unsafe for you. Yeah, well, we want to. And Trump backing. By the way, I'm still wondering this creator, which part of this he said means Trump is with the people.
That's a long time a week. I'll be honest.
Hey, can you make the video any bigger? It's kind of small.
No. That's as big as it is. Yeah, sorry. It's just a shitty video.
in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important thing is for people to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it.
But what do you think they're going to do in a week? You can't rebuild your house in a week. You can clear all the debris in the world. You think people are just going to lay in the burned remains of their houses, and is that safe? I don't know what he's talking about here. This is so confusing. And like, the reality is we've got a fucking moron for president, and millions of people who are just never going to accept that we have a moron for president. There's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess moron for president's not the worst thing.
I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and they say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
That was last night.
And that was last night.
On it.
We can't even see our homes right now. We are blocked from entering our streets. Right. We can't even. This is our first time we saw our house.
I honestly don't know what he's talking about. 18 months. I can't. I've looked for this. I've looked for this story that somebody said 18 months. I don't know who it is. Clearly, Karen Bass there is saying it's not 18 months. So I don't really know what they're talking about, if we're being honest.
House was yesterday.
Does Trump care about his legacy and how he looks?
Yes.
Probably. Does he care about his ego?
Yes.
Definitely. Just like everyone else. But you know what I think is really going on here? Masculinity has been demonized for a decade. We've been celebrating political correctness and people-pleasing politicians who tell us the polite thing instead of the right thing. So when a confident, masculine leader shows up who's more interested in doing what's good than saying what sounds good, it's so unfamiliar.
He's only doing what sounds good. I don't know what this guy's... First of all, hard left turn saying this was about masculinity. Secondly, he's only saying what sounds good. This is a bizarre take to be like, Karen Bass said it will take 18 months and the people are upset. Well, if she was only doing what sounded good, wouldn't she say the same shit Trump just said? That could be done in 24 hours. A week is too long. We could have everybody's houses rebuilt in a week. One of the two people that spoke in that video is doing the thing where they're just only saying what sounds good and not what's possible.
To us that it's triggering.
Yeah, I don't think it's triggering, but it was. I'm going to be honest. I did get a little triggered when I watched that video the first time, and I saw that gentleman say that this is a problem with masculinity. Like, bro, the masculinity people, fuck all the way off with that. What has masculinity done for us outside of, like, if you want to say it was like cool during wartime? Cool. Yeah, like if we're in a physical fight, maybe toxic masculinity helps you, right? Maybe your irrationality and being quick to violence. Like, yeah, maybe that helps in a fight. It doesn't help in a press conference. It doesn't help rebuilding a city. It doesn't help with any of this stuff. Republicanism is just laziness now. Laziness of thought. Whatever comes about that you don't like or you don't want to understand, just call it woke, call it DEI, call it masculinity, call it whatever you want, because it's not going to make any fucking sense anyways, and nobody listening to you cares if it makes sense. They're all like, yeah, we're just interested in calling everything bad masculinity. We're not interested in things making sense here. No big deal. People are going to die, and they'll just blame it on California. Yeah, absolutely. This was pretty cool today. I saw this morning. The good Reverend Al Sharpton, who is, I don't know, 350 years old at this point. They led what is called a buy-in. It is support for a company. They come in with their wallets and they buy things. This is at a Costco. I don't remember which Costco it was at, but because Costco was basically told Trump he can fuck all the way off by undoing DEI hiring methods, and they were going to continue to do it because it made them a great company. By the way, Costco is one of those few major corporations where most of the people that work there are like, hey, I like working at Costco. This is a good deal for me. I like working for this massive corporation. The wages are always higher. They're always above minimum wage. The benefits are great. That you get treated well. You don't work in slave conditions. Costco's one of those places that people want to work. And Costco's like, yeah, diversity is our strength. Of course, we're not going to undo DEI. Diversity is our strength. So here, which I love to see, is this is democracy at work. This is the people's voice at work saying, hey, when companies do the right thing, we're going to support them. Thanks for the super chat, Deborah.
I can't say no to that. That's how that's going now.
Good shot, good shot. How many people are there?
Deep. See how they are? Deep.
Still rolling in. I mean, that line is miles long. Miles long. Anyways, after I saw that, I made a Costco order. I immediately. By the way, it's a fun tip in Costco. Like if you like, let's say you like steaks, like a good sirloin steak. I'm a big meat eater. I know that's probably not very popular on our side of the aisle, and I apologize to our vegan and vegetarian friends. But if you could buy it in bulk and cut it yourself, and you can get steaks for like $4 a pound. Same with hamburger. If you're trying to save a little money, buy that hamburger in bulk. They'll bring it out in a big old tube. You just put it in your freezer. You're good to go. Little fun tip. Highly recommend Costco for all your bulk needs. Costco. I think that's right. I think we have to accept that John Fetterman is just a Republican now. It's been rumored. We talked about it last week. This is a resolution that senators came up with yesterday. All the Democratic senators, 46 out of the 47, signed on to this. John Fetterman being the one person who refused to sign on here. I have some more for you. Good, Belchi. In addition, that's the list of everybody who co-sponsored this legislation. Basically, all this legislation does is it condemns pardons for people who led the assault on Capitol Police. So those who actually assaulted police officers. This is just them saying, like, hey, everybody that assaulted police officers, we condemn them. John Fetterman's like, I'm going to sit this one out, guys. Yeah, I'm going to sit. And why? Not because he probably doesn't condemn it, but because he's lining up his political chips right now. Fetterman clearly recognizes that, like, or at least the people he represents, he feels align more closely with Trump, and so he's not going to go against Trump. But this is a weird thing. Like, this isn't going against Trump. This is just saying, like, hey, don't beat up police officers. We live in a country now where a Democrat is afraid to vocally say, if you beat up police officers in the name of a political opponent, we condemn you. He will not say that. He will sit that out. And I think this is why we say, like, this is why it feels like this is why these are just Nazis. It's who they are. Oh, we're off TikTok now. I can say whatever the fuck I want. They're just Nazis. Yeah, they weren't there for the Holocaust. Yeah, they didn't participate in the Holocaust. Yeah, they would absolutely participate if this mass deportation thing were to hit a snag, right? Let's say if all these other countries just started refusing flights from the United States, where do you think those people will go? Like, we could do. Everybody knows we could fall into a Holocaust. We absolutely could. There's enough Americans who either don't care or are bloodthirsty that we could fall into the Holocaust. I wanted to play. I forgot to put it on here. I'm just going to play the audio. I've mentioned the Anti-Hero podcast multiple times. They were the ones that were, like, bringing down Tim Kennedy and exposing some of these right-wing grifters, that, like, military grifters that lie. And I thought they did really important journalism. So I tuned in the other day just to a live stream, and they were talking about these ICE raids. And I thought, oh, they'll have, like, a nuanced view of these ICE raids. basically, this is a Fox News article or Fox News video that I'll show later, but it's showing that like people are being raided, and Fox News was along for the ride. One of the instances that they showed was Fox News went into a house to arrest somebody who was I don't know if they were on parole. I don't think they were on parole. Maybe they were like avoiding a warrant, and they found somebody else who had been removed from the United States once before for entering the country illegally, and they showed that, and like as a way to brag. I just want you to hear the glee from these are people, these are soldiers, these are decorated elite soldiers. Just listen to the glee in their voices. Oh shit! Do I have Bluetooth on? Hold on. Might have forgot to take off my headphones. Why is this not coming out? What the hell?
Released from local custody
There we go.
just the day before.
We're going to find them whether they're released or not.
God, I love it.
And
You can
guys,
stop it there. That is amazing.
Warms my heart.
Love that.
It just does. It warms my heart.
Day 3, they're getting these guys.
Yeah.
In sanctuary cities, I mean, these cities are allowing them to stay. They're releasing them.
Warms my heart, they said. This is so great. You're watching ICE raids on TV. You're watching people being deported, and they're laughing and celebrating it, and it's fine. Like, even if you want criminals being removed from this country, which is already that's already the law, and I'm fine with that. If that's what you want, that's fine. But the celebration of this is what is deeply, deeply disturbing to me. Is watching Republicans celebrate this as if innocent people aren't going to be hurt, as if innocent people don't get hurt every single time. I'm proud of our governor here in Arizona. We have Katie Hobbs, and Katie Hobbs had this to say about working with the Trump administration on their plan to deport millions of immigrants.
When hearing about the Trump administration's plans for border security, the emphasis really is on this mass deportation. What we saw here today is the actual work happening at our ports of entry that are interdicting drugs, keeping those drugs off our streets, and we need more of that to secure the border here.
As you know, Trump has promised that he would carry out mass deportations on day 1 of his presidency. Your state is estimated to have 250,000 undocumented immigrants. Some Democrats in your state, like Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, say that she wouldn't allow police to be used to carry out this plan. Would you, as governor, allow state police and National Guard to carry out mass deportations?
So remember, each governor is in charge of their National Guard. We learned this during January 6th. And state police are under the command of the governor as well. So ICE does not have the ability to commandeer those agents and get them to work for ICE.
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, and I've been incredibly clear about that.
So you disagree with mass deportations and the fact that the president-elect says that's what he's going to be working on day 1?
Well, I think that those efforts are going to divert needed resources that we need here on these drug interdiction and smuggling and trafficking efforts to keep harm out of our communities. We need those resources here. And the coming here today and seeing this operation firsthand just underscores that working in partnership here is how we can best secure the border.
What would worry you the most, Governor, about mass deportations?
Well, I think the diversion of law enforcement from the work that they do every day to keep our communities safe. People hiding in fear. We saw that under previous state policies here, and it harms communities. It tears families apart. And
I lived through Joe Arpaio's attempts to track down what he viewed as illegal immigration. And there were things that became that were very normal for us to do that, looking back, it's pretty crazy that it was normal to do. There was one player on my college soccer team that was I don't know what his status was. He was here. He was able to enroll in school in Arizona, but when we went to Yuma, where they often have what do you call those? The checkpoints. They often have immigration checkpoints. He didn't come and play in our games in Yuma, and we had two other Hispanic players on our team that would go to Yuma with their parents, with their documentation. And they rode in those cars together so that all the people could be documented and the bus wouldn't be held up. That was during Joe Arpaio. This is happening again now. It is not lawful for somebody to stop you and ask you for your papers showing that you are here legally. You're not allowed to do that. That is a infringement on your constitutional rights. That's not allowed. I would hope, and some people said this earlier in the chat, like that there's protests going on everywhere, and I agreed with who was that? I think it was Yasmin. I think, yeah. We all need to get involved. There's protests in every city. We should be involved. This should be. I'm going to see what I can find here in Phoenix, what we have going on, and maybe I can go out and get some footage there too. But we have the power to stand up against these people. We have the power to tell ICE, you got to come with a warrant. You can't come into a school without a warrant. You can't come into a place of business without a warrant. You can't come into a home without a warrant. You need a warrant in order to violate somebody's rights. Tom Homan doesn't seem to care a lot about warrants. In fact, he said something he basically has said, we'll just put everybody in jail that tries to fight against us. Here he is on Fox News.
What happens to a mayor or local police department chief that is under Democratic leadership?
That was weird. Here's him just saying, like, what happens when if he runs up against opposition.
Real quickly, what happens to a mayor or local police department chief that is under Democratic leadership that obstructs ICE in your federal agents that are helping get these deportations? What happens to them?
Well, first of all, if they don't want to help us get the hell out of the way, we're going to do it. If I got to send twice the amount of resources to that city, that's what we're going to do. If they would give us access to the jail, that would mean less agents in the community. For them pushing back and not letting us in the jail, it just means more agents are going to be in the community, so they're hurting themselves. Finally, I'll say this. They need to educate themselves. They need to review this. Title 8, United States Code 1324, III. Read about that and don't cross that line, because it is a felony to harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE. Read the statute, don't cross that line.
Yeah, I read the statute. It's illegal to harbor or conceal somebody. It is not illegal, and it is not harboring or concealing somebody if you simply tell ICE to go fuck themselves and get a warrant. That's not harboring. That's just following the law. That's not concealing. That's just following the law. They want to scare you into submission. That's what they do every single time. And that's what those ICE agents are going to tell people when they show up. And that's why it's important to understand what you're doing. It's important to understand that you can tell them to fuck right off. That's what happened at that elementary school. Now, it turned out not to be ICE. It turned out to be Secret Service, but that's what happened at the elementary school. They said, "Where's your warrant? You can do this." And by the way, like, again, this is all just anti-immigrant hatred. There is no evidence whatsoever. I've seen no evidence that removing these people is going to benefit us. It's going to cost us billions of dollars. It's going to devastate economies in other places. It's going to insert people into an economy that is already struggling and say, "Here, take care of these people." For what purpose? And then when we're done with the mass deportation, we're going to say, "Fuck, we need workers." This is going to devastate businesses all over the country. Specifically, like, small business, specifically farmers, specifically agriculture, specifically tourism. You know who it doesn't hurt? All of Trump's donors. It doesn't hurt any of them. And they just want to see brown people gone. This is the most hateful, despicable human being that I think I've ever seen in government. Tom Homan, two things, let's be very clear about. One, he's disgusting. And two, he's not very bright. He's really not. He's argumentative. He's confident. He's not that bright. He fits perfectly in Trump world. If you say things with enough anger and enough vitriol and you scare people, you become a leader. And that's how Tom Homan, a very unremarkable, unexceptional human being, wound up leading this task force. Because he does the thing that they all do. They just talk tough. And the problem with Tom Homan is he's also a little crazy. Like he does want to do that. He's not just talking tough. What he's saying he actually wants to do. He'll fight with law enforcement. He'll push the boundaries. And he kind of has a get out of jail free card because he's got Trump. Worst case scenario, he gets in trouble and Trump pardons him. That's literally his worst case scenario. This man doesn't have to worry about any real repercussions. Let's see. Yeah, I want to show this. Democracy Docket, who, if you guys aren't following Democracy Docket, highly recommend. They will give you all sorts of great stories on what's actually happening in government. The Supreme Court is going to hear some cases this year. On the 10th of January, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case Braidwood versus Becerra. And that threatens the Affordable Care Act's insurance coverage of preventative care. So Obamacare, it's saying that the part of the Affordable Care Act that covers preventative care is discriminatory. I swear to God, that's their argument. There's a group of Texas employers who object to paying for birth control, and pre-exposure prophylaxis for HIV argue that affordable care can't require preventative services be covered without costs like copays because the panels that determine coverage are unconstitutional. So the panel's deciding like what is and is not covered, that's unconstitutional. Therefore, we should let our belief in Sky Daddy be the ultimate arbiter. Jonathan Mitchell is the lawyer. He's a right-wing attorney and former Justice Scalia's clerk who wrote the Texas bounty hunter abortion ban, which was Senate Bill 8. A ruling for the plaintiffs would mean employers and insurers reimposing copays and deductibles or just denying birth control coverage entirely. They can say, like, we're providing you health insurance, but like similar to Planned Parenthood, we're not going to give you any reproductive care. The end of no-cost coverage requirements would ultimately result in fewer people being able to afford the contraceptive, including IUDs. The devices alone, IUDs, cost hundreds of dollars. Then there's the price of the office visit for insertion. Yes, an over-the-counter birth control pill hit stores in 2024, but people deserve options, and it's not affordable for everyone. While Trump specifically doesn't have the power to scale back birth control, the question is how much of it, he has the power to do some things. He can't totally scale it back. So how much of it will he use? Like, he's doing Project 2025. This was Project 2025. In Project 2025, it called to end the coverage mandate of prescription-only contraception, the prescription-only contraception pill called Ella, which conservatives falsely claim is abortifacient. The birth control doesn't end a pregnancy. It prevents pregnancy by blocking fertilization or an egg implanting. The debate over how birth control actually works is only part of the reason conservatives want to restrict it. Again, conservatives do this all the time. They lie about what their actual argument is so that they can get closer to banning it. When this conversation was being had all over debate platforms, like, it was clear that it was not abortifacient. It was clear that this was not aborting a child. It was preventing a child from being born. It was preventing fertilization. Everybody knew that, but they I don't even remember what their obscure. They had some weird source. I'm trying to remember what the article or the argument was. I remember hearing. I think it was Kenzie was arguing this. Could have been Javon. And I'm trying to remember what the source was, but it was something silly. This is all Heritage Foundation. They're going to just continue to attack reproductive health, abortion access, healthcare access, contraceptive access, until eventually they can get it down onto a state level where the states where conservatives run it can basically say, hey, if you're having sex, you got to have that baby. Got to have that baby. I'll drop that link will be in the Discord. One other thing, Donald Trump this weekend. I mean, in the most in like an obvious act of deception, Donald Trump used these the inspector generals. Now, the inspector generals, like their job is to make sure that any sort of fraud, any sort of uh, illegal behavior that's taking place within the Justice Department gets investigated. And part of the deal that Trump made with Senate Republicans specifically is, hey, I'm not going to fire these IGs if you guys confirm Pete Hegseth. You can leave these IGs in place and they will monitor Pete Hegseth so we know that things don't get out of control. The Republican senators that were opposing said, okay, fine, we'll confirm Pete Hegseth. And literally 4 hours later, Trump fired all the IGs, every one of them. He immediately went back on his promise, and you're not hearing a peep from the people in the Senate. You're not hearing a peep. He just fucked them over, and you're not going to hear a peep from them. By the way, if you have a Republican who's being nominated and Mitch McConnell says no, that's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad that Republicans had to bring somebody in, J.D. Vance, for the tie-breaking vote. That's how bad Pete Hegseth is. Because Republicans will virtually do anything Donald Trump says. So the mere fact that Pete Hegseth had detractors and you had to bring in J.D. Vance tells you how bad Pete Hegseth was. By the way, he called Fort Liberty or whatever it is now. He called it Fort Bragg multiple times this morning. That's a little woke. I think that's a little bit woke there. This is an article from The Guardian. This is the wrong article. Son of a bitch. Where's my... Oh, it just was blacked. Sorry. Wrong link. This is Adam Schiff just explaining the problem with getting rid of these IGs.
Take on President Trump's decision to fire 18 inspectors general. I just had this conversation with Senator Lindsey Graham. In legislation, which actually you originally sponsored, presidents have to give a 30-day notice to Congress that they are going to do this. You heard Senator Graham just say technically he may have violated the law by not notifying Congress. Is there anything that Congress can do about this decision by President Trump?
There's a lot that we can do. And I have to say, as someone who introduced the Protecting Our Democracy Act, which was designed in part to protect inspector generals, to write off this clear violation of law by saying, well, technically he broke the law. Yeah, he broke the law. And not just any law, but a law meant to...
Yeah, like technically he broke the law. That's called breaking the law. If you technically break the law, like he technically did business fraud, that's against the law. That's who Republicans have become. Yeah, it's against the law, but we don't give a fuck. That's just what they're just openly saying it now, right? Like we know he broke the law, but I don't really care about that law.
To crowd out waste, fraud, and abuse. And the remedies Congress has. We have the power of the purse. We have the power right now to confirm or not confirm people for cabinet positions that control agencies or would control agencies whose inspector generals have just been fired. And let's remember, in his first term, he fired an inspector general for providing whistleblower complaints to Congress, fired an inspector general for saying the pandemic response, his response had flaws. The American people, if we don't have good and independent inspector generals, are going to see the swamp refill. They're going to see rampant waste, fraud. They're going to see corruption. It may be the president's goal here, when he's got a meme coin that's making him billions, is to remove anyone that's going to call the public attention to his malfeasance.
I have to get your...
That's the point, right? The point is, Donald Trump recognizes this as impeachment. I believe that there's already articles of impeachment being filed. He recognizes what happened to him last time. He recognized that he didn't completely and totally own everybody. And there was like a handful of people that were willing to say, you crossed a line. So he wants all of that removed. If he replaces these IGs, and there's going to be a legal battle here, but if he's able to replace these IGs with loyalists, your view into the deep state, your view into the military apparatus, your view into the intelligence agencies is gone. It's ironic that like everything they run on, everything the Trump people are still here celebrating, they're doing the exact opposite. And I don't I think part of the frustration for most of us, and this is true from his first go around. The frustration for all of us is that, like, can nobody see this? Do you care at all? Is it only about winning? Because look, there's nobody that's going to benefit from this. You're not. If there's Trump people here, we'll figure out how to get you guys on. I mean, we can bring you on through Discord or something if you ever want to talk. But what has he done that has helped you? Can you explain to me how it's going to help you? How it's helping you to deport immigrants? How's that helping you? How is it helping you that they're conditioning federal aid? What has he done so far that has helped you? Because I haven't seen anything. Prices are going up. We didn't end the war in Ukraine. Didn't end anything in Israel. So now I've seen nothing that says homes are going to be more affordable. I've seen nothing that says grocery prices are coming down. I've seen nothing that says you're going to get a better education. We still are waiting on that healthcare plan. I have concepts of a plan. No, you don't. You don't give a fuck. The only healthcare stuff he's done is stripping the rights away from women. I just want to know, at some point, how long do you guys wait before he does something that's good for you? How long do you wait before you say, like, uh-oh, maybe we got duped? Because he did it the first go around. He did it the first go around, and then you guys all said, well, if he would have had 4 more years, he would have taken care of us. He had to take care of the rich people first. 4 more years, it was the second 4 years when he was going to take care of us. Well, he's back. Seems to be doing more for rich people than ever. I don't know if there's never been a president in our lifetime who has done more for rich people in such a short amount of time. And it's crazy that the people that are celebrating this, the people who are out there most vocally about this, are the ones that are seeing no benefit. You guys are celebrating Elon Musk making billions of dollars. You're celebrating Donald Trump making billions of dollars. You're not getting shit. In fact, because they are making so much money, because the rich are making so much money, wealth inequality is growing, and the value of your dollar is getting less and less. Your ability to stretch a dollar is getting more and more difficult every day of this presidency. Not one single solitary thing that he's told you would get better if he took over has gotten better. Not one. I just wonder at what point are you going to say, like I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. I'm just a piece of the game. And fuck it, like they'll throw me to the side in order to help their billionaire friends. Hey, Jen.
Hey. Sounds like a being a fan of a awful football team, to be honest.
Like the Rams or something?
Something, yeah. So, by the way, the appeal went through on TikTok. If you want to restart it over there, it went through.
I don't even know how, but I can try it.
So I'm guessing you just messages. So, just doing my check-in. We are currently on Twitch and YouTube. Our TikTok had got banned for hate speech, you said?
That's correct, yeah. Thanks, Tim Dillon.
Yeah, so I guess the appeal went through. We'll see if people can figure out how to get it back over there. But
I don't even care. Also, we got more viewers here now than we did
I mean,
before.
there's lots of people.
Thank you guys, by the way, for migrating from TikTok. This is by far the most people we've had concurrently streaming, so thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely the highest number. I see 332 on my side. So we've got about 2.5 hours left. We typically end around 1 Pacific Standard Time. We've got a gift goal. I know you have updated, probably something to read and all that good stuff.
Oh shit! I didn't even update it from today. Whoops. I haven't done anything today. Yeah.
So the number should be 300. He's got to do all the math. I put some of the super chats in our DMs that we have. Okay. So we have some of them. I've been trying to. I'm not as experienced. I'm have to practice with moderating the Twitch and the YouTube, so it's going to take a little more time to figure out all that. But we're trying to thank everybody as you guys put super chats. So 300 is the goal. We got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. You can see those all underneath the video screen. The goal is to hit 300 per day because this is our job. So I think do all the things on the other platforms so that we can keep pushing this out to other places. I believe, what is it, one more day and you're affiliate on Twitch?
I think so. I think today is the 7th day, or maybe it's maybe not. Maybe tomorrow's the 7th day. I think it's today though.
Yeah. So once we become affiliate, my understanding is we can get subscriptions over onto Twitch as well. So we'll get all that sorted out. So yeah, there's all the things, links. Oh, I don't know if we'll have to look and see the link tree over here on this stuff for other. I'll figure that out. Anyway, so that's about it. Oh, if you want to invite to the Discord, just put something in one of the chats, and one of the mods, you can either DM a mod or the mod can DM you and get you a link to the Discord. So I think that's it.
Yes, we will have fun emotes on Twitch. As soon as we can do emotes, we will do fun emotes on Twitch.
Yeah. So do you have?
I do. Ashley says Elon Musk walks into a Nazi rally. That's it. That's the punchline. It's not even a joke. It's just a thing.
Sadly, that's just what it is. Yeah.
It's just doing it. Jamar says, "Could you make it bigger? It's kind of small." Yes. And rude.
Jay hears that a lot.
Yeah, rude. It hurts my feelings, but yes. Bree says, "Sounds like we're both meat eaters, huh? You like meat with a good creamy sauce too?" No, I don't put sauce on my meat. No creamy sauce on my meat. Chelsea says, "Shout out to the one incel viewer on Twitch. We appreciate the views." I saw who that was. That like the Trump 2024, like I heart Trump, whoever it was. Kristen says, "You played soccer in college. Another green flag. Happy Monday. I'm a boomer millennial and we can't figure out how to become a member on my phone, but someday I'll get it. Thanks for your work. Saturdays and Sundays are long without you." Is there a way? Do you have to go on the browser to join YouTube membership?
I think that might be. I think it's easier that way, but I'm not 100% positive.
I thought you could just I thought when you pulled up the pro. Let me look and see who has a membership here. Does Channel 5 do it? I bet they do. Yeah, it is hard to see. Yeah. Oh, they do Patreon. They probably don't have a membership. We'll figure it out. If there's a way to do it, maybe we'll make like a step-by-step. We can drop it in the Discord of how to do it.
So
almost done.
Okay.
Bree says, "How can we deport all maggots instead and create a commune for ourselves where Sully and you are my husbands?" I think we just got to find a plot of land somewhere. I think Oregon would be a good spot for that. Perhaps Washington. Perhaps Mexico. Any of those. All right, I think I got them all.
All right. What kind of overalls does Mario wear?
I do not know.
Denim.
Denim. I think that's how it's supposed to go, right? Denim. Oh, I got the trash truck coming by here soon. Thanks, Jen. Let me find a video before this is going to get loud. Let's do. All right, we'll do this. This will go nicely with Ashley's joke. This actually happened this weekend. This is the AfD, which is the reimagined Nazi party in Germany, and look who they had as a guest.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Unfortunately, I can't hear you very well. So hopefully, wow. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. The audio I'm hearing from my side is I can't hear you. So hopefully this is coming through. Please confirm that you can hear me okay?
Yes.
I don't know, raise your hand or something. Okay, all good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I wanted to really say that I'm very excited for the AfD, and I think you are really the best hope for Germany. I think some things that something I think that is just very important is that people take pride in Germany and being German. This is very important. It's okay.
Why? Why is it important that you take pride in your country and being a member of that country? Why? It's important because that allows people to manipulate you, right? It allows people to give you ideas that aren't very good and tell you that if you don't support those ideas, that you don't love your country. I saw Tim Burchett was drunk tweeting yesterday, and that was one of his things. Oh, you never see the left chanting USA, USA. Yeah. Yeah, why? One, like, sorry, we're not involved in cult practices. But two, it's not important to us. You should not take pride in a country. Maybe you can take pride in what your country does, but what does our country have to be proud of right now? What is it that we should be proud of right now? What is America doing that should make us proud? Drilling oil? Does that make us proud? When's the last time America did something that's like, this makes us proud, America? It's been a long time. It's been a long time since there was a moment where America came together and was like, yeah, we're proud. It's not important to be proud. In fact, the idea of being proud just makes you complacent. And I'm proud to be an American. What's the next line? Where at least I know I'm free. That was the best they could come up with. At least I know I'm free. Almost every country is free. Most countries are free. Most countries have liberal democracies. Most countries you can say what you want to say. Most countries you can travel. Most countries that have universal health care are far more free. Are you truly free if you're stuck in bed? Are you truly free if you can't go see a doctor? Are you truly free if you can't fix the ailments that are keeping you down? No. That's literally who we've become. I'm proud to be American where at least I know I'm free. And then these oligarchs are like, that's enough for you. Okay? Just be proud of America and follow what the rich people say.
Okay, to be proud to be German. This is a very important principle. It's proud, it's okay, it's good.
Pride's an important principle. Since when? What book tells you pride is an important principle? What great philosopher has ever said, like, pride is the most important principle? I don't know what the religious affiliation is here, but in America, these would our Nazis are Christians. And so in America, they should have learned that pride is a sin.
To be proud of German culture, German values, and not to lose that in some sort of multiculturalism that dilutes everything. You know, I think we want to have unique cultures in the world. We want to have
just not like by each other. Can we stop with the Elon's not a Nazi thing? Can we just knock that shit off? Are we done with that now? Can we just forever be done? Are the MAGA folks still here? Can you guys just be fucking done with this? He's a Nazi. He's just a Nazi. We know that. You know that. Everybody knows it. Can we stop fighting about whether or not he's a Nazi? If you guys want to tell us why you're proud to be a Nazi, fine. If you want to talk about why Nazism is the way for the future, fine. Let's have the discussion. But can you guys just be honest now? You're just Nazis. You rebranded. That's it. Like, it's like we're saying, you know, like if you're like, oh, you love eating at Hardee's, and you're like, I hate Hardee's. I only eat at Carl's Jr. Yeah, that's just Hardee's though. It's just rebranded. I only like Carl's Jr. I hate Hardee's. Well, no, you don't. It's just a different name. It's the same thing. You guys are just Nazis.
People that have, you know, we don't want everything to be the same everywhere, where it's just one big sort of soup. You know, we want to have something where it's you go to different countries and you experience a different culture, and it is unique and special and good.
He's talking about apartheid, which his dad was a fan of, his mom was a fan of, his grandparents were fans of. All of his grandparents were Nazis. Just get two Nazi grandparents down to apartheid-loving parents. He's just a Nazi.
And that
named after a book where the Nazi leader gets to live on Mars and leads a new colony.
That the German government takes actions to protect its citizens. and make sure that it seeks the health and well-being of the German people.
I just want to say, like, that's what they said about Jewish people. It's not that we have a problem with Jewish people. It's that, like, they should be in their own country. What are they doing here? They're poisoning the blood. Like, they're changing the culture. They don't have the same religious beliefs as we do. Oh, no, some of them are in banking. Now they're taking our jobs. It's the same exact argument that we're seeing now. It is literally, there is no difference between pre-Holocaust Germany and the United States right now. The only difference is the people look a little different. That's it. We're blaming them for all our problems. These illegal immigrants are bringing in drugs. Why? Why are they bringing it in? Oh, because we have a drug problem. Oh, I remember now. Why do we have a drug problem? Well, we did allow all of these drug manufacturers to overprescribe opiates for decades, and then we gave them a little slap on the wrist when it was all said and done. And now we've got an opiate addiction that leads to street drugs. So that could be why. Should we address that? No, we absolutely should not address that. What we should do is blame poor people. We should blame poor people who saw an opportunity to make money off of an addiction in America, and I don't think that those people are right, but they are no less moral than the people who have created this opioid epidemic. I don't see them any differently. However, we can control what people do in this country. It's hard to control what people do in other countries. And because in America, it has become unpopular or uncool to admit that we've ever fucking done anything wrong, because that's what republicanism is now. Republicanism is just like, we've never done a goddamn thing wrong in our entire lives. Everything America does is perfect, and fuck everybody else. And even the stuff that we don't think we did perfect, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to address it. We're not going to talk about the implications of it. We're not going to talk about the lasting effects that we've seen for decades of it. We are just going to pretend none of it happened. That's what we're going to do now in America, because what we have is a bunch of thin-skinned, spoon-fed bitches at the top of our economy, like Elon Musk. I mean, this is the most thin-skinned, sensitive human being maybe in the world. He gives even Donald Trump's like, yeah, you're a little whiny. You're a little bit whiny, Elon. We're getting tired of you. He's still out there. He still won't admit that he faked his gaming credentials. Tesla's in the shitter. Twitter's in the shitter. He's just thin-skinned, and he turns all this stuff private. He turns off blocks. He turns off mutes. He starts throttling anybody who he went after Asmongold, the person who brought up the fact that he was lying about his gaming credentials. Oh, there goes your blue check mark. I mean, there's nobody softer than Elon Musk. And what he's saying is like, a lot of people in the world hate me, but it seems to be that the racist whites don't hate me. So we need to create a safer place for the racist whites because they don't seem to hate me as much.
The German people are sort of really an ancient nation, goes back thousands of years. I was even, sort of read Julius Caesar's account of first encountering the German tribes in the Gaulic campaigns, and he was like, "Wow, very impressive. These are very, very powerful warriors." I think there's frankly too much of a focus on past guilt, and we need to move beyond that.
Yeah.
Children should not be guilty of the sins of their parents, or even let alone their parents, their great-grandparents, maybe even.
Should they learn from their great-grandparents? Because nobody's saying that kids are guilty of what their grandparents did. They're asking, should they learn from it? Should they continue to teach what led to the Holocaust? And the problem is what led to the Holocaust was fascism. What leads to fascism is conservatism. What leads to conservatism is a mix between unwillingness to evolve and religion. And so if you take away the ability from people to learn from it, you're destined to repeat those mistakes. Things that I don't think Elon views as a mistake. Remember, he sees humanity as a number, and he's going to get to that in a second. He's going to show you, He's not really concerned about millions of people dying. He doesn't care about that. It will recover.
And we should be optimistic and excited about a future for Germany. That's really my message: is be optimistic, excited, and preserve German culture and protect the German people. And and there's some other things that I think would be very helpful too, which is I think you want more self-determination for Germany and for the countries in Europe, and less from Brussels. That's my opinion. I think there's too much bureaucracy from Brussels, too much control from sort of global elite.
What is he talking about? What is it? What? Sorry, why is he talking about Brussels? Does anybody know what he's saying? Like, why is he bringing up Belgium right now? Is it because he's having issues with Belgium with Twitter? Is that what it is? Tesla filed a lawsuit against the EU challenging the bloc's imposition of anti-subsidy tariffs on electric vehicle imports from China in October. The UE leveled tariffs of up to 7.8% on Tesla and up to 35.3% on other Chinese. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, here it is, maybe. Brussels orders X to hand over documents on algorithm. This is blocked, but I'm going to guess that's what it is. Which would allow Brussels to say, like, to show that Elon Musk goosed the algorithm to promote alt-right shit. Okay, that makes sense. We need less people saying that I can't force my Nazism on others, and more people like Nazis who love Nazis. That's what we need. That's what we need more of. Got it. All right.
And when I've given talks at these sort of global government conferences, what I've said is there should be less global government. There should be more determination by individual countries. So I very much hope that the AfD does well.
What is global government? Is there a global government that I'm unaware of? Is he talking about NATO and the UN? Is he talking about the ICC? I don't know what he's talking about. But clearly, this is a person who wants to live in an echo chamber and wants to have non-diverse ethno-states. He would prefer that Germany all look like him. He fits right in Germany. Red Fox says, I can't get shusher. Thank you for the super chat there. I'm not sure. Maybe message Jen. She might be able to help you with that. Thank you, Red Fox. Let me check messages real quick. I don't think that came. I think we're good. Let's see. Bree says, I saw a good acronym for these white men and women who are mediocre as fuck. WEI, which stands for white, entitled, and incompetent. The definition of Trump and his cabinet. Be mad if you want. You can eat me. You can eat me. I like that. I mean, is that not Pete Hegseth? Is it not like Pete Hegseth just had to be a Pulse and like be in the National Guard? And they're like, you're qualified. That's all it took. Like, the least qualified person ever to assume the role of Secretary of Defense. I don't know why they want to confront the truth that America is an imperialist nation that was made for hypocritical white Christian men who bitch and moan about every single thing. They say we're lazy, but somehow taking all the jobs. Well, that's the thing. The jobs are supposed to come to them, Bree. It's just supposed to show up. Their dad's supposed to give it to them, or their dad's friend, and they're supposed to get benefits and basically go do a job supervising other people. So that's I think what they're talking about. They don't like that they're not getting things just handed to them quite as easily. Still happening, but not quite as easily. Trump issued an executive order this weekend, or I guess last week, and he rescinded Executive Order 11246. Do we know what Executive Order 11246 is? It's a long-standing executive order. Anybody? Somebody know it? Before I pull it up. Release the clones. Oh, shit. I forgot that I accidentally set my damn thing to ChatGPT, but this will work. The original was 11246, signed by Lyndon Johnson, establishing requirements for non-discriminatory practices. However, Trump issued an executive order titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity, which revokes the original executive order, essentially meaning that you cannot be sued for discriminatory hiring practices. And Elon is right in the middle of a lawsuit regarding discriminatory hiring practices. And that's just gone away now. We're just not doing it. Use Perplexity. Yeah. Hey, I'm switching to by the way, I was using ChatGPT to make those to make some pictures, and I clicked on a button at one point that said like make it your search engine. I was just not paying attention, and now I don't know how to fix it. So somebody can fix that to me. But Perplexity is way better. Don't fucking judge me. I'm always getting judged by what I use here. Can I use Google? Can I use that one? There's a new one here. I was reading about this morning, so you guys can probably tell me all about it. But the new one from China is called what's that one called? DeepSeek. The story from The Guardian today. I saw a video on this last night. DuckDuckGo. Sorry, I'll use DuckDuckGo. Global tech shares, and I actually had some shares in Nvidia sold on Friday. Good move by me. I didn't know. I just didn't want to be invested in Nvidia anymore. Global tech shares fall as China AI chatbot DeepSeek spooks investors. This is a $6 million startup compared to multi-billion-dollar startups like ChatGPT. It says investors punished global tech stocks on Monday after the emergence of a Chinese chatbot competitor to OpenAI's ChatGPT raised doubts about the sustainability of U.S. artificial intelligence boom. What we learned from DeepSeek is that it doesn't take a lot of money. There's already AI out there. There's already search engines, big deposits of information, and your AI can learn. What we found out, it's now the #1 app in the App Store. It's open source, which means multiple people will be working on it. It's that exact thing that Elon always lies about with his technology, that it's open source. And again, $6 million. It's more effective. It seems to be giving more accurate information. And this comes on the heels of Donald Trump announcing $500 billion investment into AI. What we're learning here is that AI, actually, you can develop it, you can make it useful for people. If you pull out the element of VC, venture capital. The person who invented DeepSeek in China was, I believe, just a regular engineer at a different tech company. Invented this with their friends, and now they've made it open source, and it's performing better with a budget of $6 million. If you're looking at China and you say they can develop something better than ChatGPT for $6 million, and ChatGPT's collected, I mean, how much do we think OpenAI has collected in funding? Anybody have a number on that? If you get it, look. See how much OpenAI has raised in funding. It's got to be hundreds of, $100 billion, less than more than that. How much do you think? China's ahead of us in so much cybersecurity for sure. The other thing about China is that, God damn it, I hate that I'm saying this. The person who created this company was able to do it on a shoestring budget while working at another company, being paid well. And oh, by the way, their education was mostly free, likely free. And oh, by the way, they also have universal health care. And oh, by the way, their food is cleaner and better and healthier. And oh, by the way, it's cheaper too. Like, we're not even better. Like, China's better than us now. We could. I mean, China's got its issues as well. But like, living in China is better for a lot of these people. If you're an entrepreneur in America and you're a tech entrepreneur, it's not a great place for you to be. It's very difficult to compete. You need access to VC money, and that VC money now seems to be tied up ideologically. Like, most of these investors now are investing ideologically. They're not even necessarily saying, like, what's the best company out there? Can we do this a cheaper way? What's that, Sam Altman? You need $20 billion more dollars? Cool. And you're going to be on board with our technocracy? Cool. You're in. Backwards. We are sliding so far backwards from the American dream. Like, it's been dead for so long. And like, they're dancing on the grave of the American dream now. And MAGA's like, yay, the American dream is dead. Hooray. Speaking of the American dream, shout out to fucking everybody. This is in Florence, Italy. These are anti-fascist protesters marching in the streets of Florence. Listen to these people. They're marching because of these people. They're marching because of this. This is in Prodapio, Italy, and these are the fascists chanting Deuce, which is a nickname for Mussolini, who was the father of fascism, along with admirers of Hitler. Followers of Mussolini and Hitler both sit in the Italian government, they said Benny Mussolini and Hitler admirers currently sitting in Italian's government declaring fascism is dead while opposing commemorating April 25th, the date of Italy's liberation from the fascist regime. Oh, and they're doing Elon's thing. Oh, they must be Elon Musk fans. They must just be Elon Musk fans there, right? It's them marching. Sorry, I don't speak Italian. I could just throw the sound out there. Oops. I want you to notice something about who these fascists are compared to the people marching in the streets. That was young people. That was regular age people. And here in Italy, it's just the old fucks, the people who don't want to change. Bunch of old dudes. It's the average age in this. Look, that lady's barely hanging on. Look at the amount of yes. The average age there is crazy. It's important to remember that it isn't a majority of the people. It's just old people and incels. That's who loves this. Bree sent dropped this letter. Let me see if I can make that any bigger. Can I drop it? Can I move this over here? Not without doing that. Let me pull up this letter real quick. The inspector generals apparently have clapped back at Trump. I didn't see this letter. Here we go. Sergio Gore, who's the director of presidential personnel. This letter was to Mr. Gore, G-O-R. I'm writing in response to your email sent to me and other inspector generals earlier this evening, where you informed each of us that due to changing priorities, your position as inspector general is terminated effective immediately. As chairperson of the Council of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency, I recommend that you reach out to White House counsel to discuss your intended course of action. At this point, we do not believe the actions taken are legally sufficient to dismiss presidentially appointed, Senate-confirmed inspector generals. Specifically based on the 2022 amendments to the Inspector General's Act of 1798, the president must notify Congress 30 days prior to removal of an IG and provide substantive rationale, including detailed and case-specific reasons for such removal. That was what they were talking about with Adam Schiff that he had, I believe that's what he introduced. The requirement to provide the substantive rationale, including detailed and case-specific reasons, was added to better enable Congress to engage in and respond to a proposed removal of an inspector general in order to protect the independence of the inspector generals. Should you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. This was sent to Rand Paul, Gary Peters, James Comer, Gerald Connolly, and I think that's it. So it appears that we have a fight on our hands, some constitutionality problems, which the party of the Constitution. I assume that Trump's team will look at that and be like, "Oh, we love the Constitution, so we will no longer be part of that." In America, we have our own dipshits we call fascists, and they are dipshits. This is Patriot Front. If you remember the video, that viral video that went around a few years ago, but that guy on the bike just calling them losers. Jen, if you have that video, will you find that? We're gonna watch.
Which one is it?
It's the video of the guy calling Patriot Front losers. He's like riding his bike around, and he's like, "Nice outfits, losers."
All right, I'll find it. Yeah.
Here, these dumbass beige Nazis are demonstrating in front of the Washington Monument. They all showed up together. They got dressed in their costumes together. I think they they did some docking, mushed their wieners against each other, and then they came out here to demonstrate. All 45 of them. All 45 of these incel white nationalists showed up at the Washington Monument to tell us, like, hey, we're dipshits too. It doesn't just happen in Europe. We got dipshits everywhere. Don't let the Europeans own dipshitty. We're the dipshittiest here in America. You know, if you grab that, Jen.
I'm looking for it.
You're good.
but while I'll find it. While I'm here, we've got about 2 hours left in the live. I know it looks different. We still need to hit our gift goal. We've got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats over on YouTube. I don't know how, if you can donate yet on Twitch yet. But to be able to keep the show going Monday through Friday, this is our job. We need to hit that gift goal. So if you guys could please do so. If you're on Twitch and you haven't checked us out on YouTube, please do that too, and vice versa. I think I'll look. I'm still looking for that video. I'll send it to you when I find it. So you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I think I can find it. Heckler. Let's try that. Let's see. Where is that? I thought this would be so easy to find. Where's that biking heckler? This is devastating. Home. I think he maybe says go home. That's Homer.
I think I found it. Hold on. I don't know if this is the exact one, but I found one.
Yep, this is the one. All right.
I'm so much better at finding stuff than you.
No, you went to YouTube. I thought I was using X.
I just used.
They probably throttled this on X. All right, here we go.
But I cannot wear Walmart khakis.
By now, you've probably seen this video. You've probably heard it too.
It's
gone viral online.
My name is Joe Flood. I'm Red Bike Guy.
You were the losers of your high school class.
I yelled at the Patriot Front on the National Mall.
Show your face. I would love.
I said that you look sloppy.
Wear Walmart khakis.
That you're wearing Walmart khakis, which all the police officers laughed about.
Sloppy.
That you're not matching because they had all sorts of different types of khaki pants on.
Look like General Custer's illegitimate son.
I made fun of the guy giving the speech because he was boring.
Reclaim your virginity.
How'd you think of all these things to yell at them?
Well, I thought just cursing at them, they could probably just ignore that. But if I got really personal and direct, then that might get their attention.
You're a bunch of incels.
I wanted them to know that we were not afraid of them and that the people of DC thought that they were a joke.
So Flood did his heckling and then he went home. But little did he know someone was filming, and soon enough that video went viral. First on TikTok, then on Twitter. Eventually, he was doing national media appearances. What do you think about all this attention you're getting?
It's been crazy. It's like being thrown into a tornado, but in a good way. The amount of support I've gotten from people has just been overwhelming.
Got thrown into a fascist tornado. All right. Listen, if you're out there and you see Patriot Front, just remember They are not the Proud Boys. They are not the Oath Keepers. They are not the 3%ers. They are a bunch of incel pussies, and they're not going to do a goddamn thing other than sit there and chant, and you absolutely should mock them repeatedly to their faces over and over and over again. So keep your eye out for a Patriot Front rally near you, and make sure to go heckle them, and then you can meet up with them later at I don't know why this is an insult, but it is an insult. I'm 100% sure that they eat at Burger King. I don't know why that's an insult, but it is. I think they are Burger King people. I think that's fair. Let me check. There we go. All right. Now we'll go into, well, let's see. Yeah, I've got another slideshow for you guys today. This one's maybe not as funny, but we talked about this executive order from Trump, the declassification of records concerning the assassinations of President JFK, RFK, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. So a couple things to note here. One, that he says the families and the American people deserve transparency and truth. I like that. Two, there are specific rules for what they're actually doing. Trump didn't just declassify them and say all the records are available now. Within 15 days of the date of the order, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General shall, in coordination with the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and Counsel to the President, present a plan for the President for the full and complete release of the records. So they have to present a plan. Then within 45 days, they should review records related to the assassinations of RFK and Martin Luther King Jr. And why did they leave out JFK in that one? Oh, that was for the first one. Okay. So 15 days for JFK, 45 days for RFK and Martin Luther King Jr. And again, we don't even know if we're going to get that. We're just going to be presented a plan. But no, suspiciously left out, of course, was the Epstein. And here was, just as a reminder, we're going to show this over and over. Trump really waffled when asked about Epstein and his girlfriend Ghislaine. Trump initially came out quite strong, saying I would release those records, and then quickly remembered, oh shit, I might be in those documents.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I
like that one time that somebody filed a lawsuit against you saying that you required her and another minor to perform sexual acts on each other and you. That one? Are those the crazy things that you don't want out there?
I think I would.
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It'd be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would definitely do the January 6th.
Okay, that was hilarious.
Did he do January 6th? Sorry, I get to cut out Shank there. Did he do January 6th? Yeah, I would definitely do January 6th. Who wants to bet he doesn't? Who wants to bet that they don't put that information out there? I do. I want to bet that they don't put it all out there. I want to bet that they don't release everything. I mean, most of it we already know, right? Most of it, like they showed it to us on TV. I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be stuff that gets left out if he does declassify January 6th. But the question needs to be asked: What about his buddy?
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests. Among them, the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
And a tree. And then whoever that who is that tree? Does anybody know who that guy is? I don't know how tall Jeffrey Epstein is. I know Trump's about 6'1", despite saying he's 6'4". I don't know. Is that Barron? Is that Barron? How come this guy gets a pass? I still, for the life of me, if anybody else was on video at his own house bringing in Jeffrey Epstein and immediately pointing to women and being like, look at all the women we have for you, they'd be like, yeah, the guy knows what Jeffrey likes. He knows what's up. They must be good friends.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later
Barron's
in the
real
footage,
dad.
Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling
I think
us
that's Saddam Hussein, possibly. I don't know who that guy is either, but he looks like Saddam.
about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances. Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter. But as the president says now, he never liked.
He probably was like, no, just kidding. She's over 18. And they were like, we're not interested in that. I'm just saying, if anybody else had that video in existence, it would be over for them. But the people who care so much about Epstein elected his best bud. They were just best buds. He's like, we really care about Epstein. We're going to put his best bud in. I don't know what to do with these Republicans anymore. Literally everything that you guys say that you care about, Donald Trump is the opposite of that, and you can't figure it out. And it just goes to show like how easy it is to manipulate this many people. If you just tell them I'm against something that they're against, they'll just be on your side. It's so easy. If things ever get really tough for me, I swear to God, I'm running as a Republican. I'm just nobody will care. They'll be like, he hosted a leftist live until he ran out of money. And I'd be like, no, I ran out of money because I woke up. I got rid of the woke mind virus, and then nobody wanted to support me anymore. And then all the Republicans would be like, yay, you're on our side now. And then they would make me like head of HHS, or they would put me up in some national security position. Just simply because I used to be on the left. It would be the easiest change ever. I do want to just to nail this down a little bit here, a bit more. Trumpstein, best friends forever. Look at those two. You never seen them so happy in their life. That's the Trumpstein couple right there, best friends forever. There they are. There's Melania, who is, I mean, that's a tough face to be making right there without saying you're on something. And then there's old Ghislaine right there with I believe that's maybe denim. Lovely. Best friends forever, these guys. There they are, talking about underage girls together. Best friends. Oh, and there he is with his own children. Those are Donald's children, bringing them around noted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Hey, kids, meet my friend Jeff. He's a cool guy. Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'm going to keep saying Ghislaine, says Jeffrey Epstein recorded Trump with his victims. Sometime in early 2016, she told a CBS reporter, Ira Rosen, that Epstein has tapes of Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, but she doesn't know where he keeps them. I'm just saying, if you're going to have that Clinton energy, you better keep that Trump energy, because the same people who are accusing Clinton are accusing Trump. And that person is Ghislaine Maxwell. And that is the correct pronunciation of her name, just in case you guys were wondering. Hey, and by the way, in the chat, can we stop fighting with each other? Especially about comments. We're good. I'm good. I appreciate it. I appreciate the concern for me. We're good. Let's stop arguing in the comments there. I promise you I'm a big boy. If there's things that are bothering me, I can take care of them. And then this. Just a reminder of what Jeffrey Epstein had to say in his own words about Donald Trump to Bob Woodward.
So how do you know this?
Donald's closest friend.
I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. His closest friend for 10 years.
So I need the dump. Just give me Donald.
First, it's fun. As you probably know, he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp moved, which is terrible. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone with him. He's a fake PR person. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this
Agreed,
is
Eli.
amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do they? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do we have sex? I mean, don't you want to? You and I can go
Sorry, I think I said this is Bob Woodward's book. It's Michael Wolff's book. I'm sorry.
upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic kind of. Hawaiian, so come over at 3 o'clock.
Remember, the Hawaiian Tropics was just women. It was another, like, they would just have these parties where they'd call it a pageant, or it would be something about girls. They would bring very young girls, sometimes under the age of 18, and they would throw these parties, and it would be Donald and his rich buddies that are way older than the women that were there, and they would just look at them, and then it would end with a dance party. They would pay them money. I assume there was, if Matt Gaetz is any indication of how those circles work, I'm sure money was exchanged for certain things. But that's who these people were. That's what they did. That was their entire life. They ran around, and it appears like it was make money and have sex. And it either like getting money and having sex, it doesn't really matter if the way that you acquire that is legally.
You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, Victoria's been on the phone, listening. He set it up because he wants a story. So he has you on, because as an avoid conversation,
That's the actual audio. Sorry.
You must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wife's on the speakerphone listening to Donald and said, I know I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael is like the end of the world, the best guy on earth. You will be married to him. You're wrong. Just listen to the next 20 minutes. And you can go with them in your office, set you up.
Whatever you want to take from that, it's clear that they had like an intimate knowledge of each other. It's clear that they interacted regularly. You can go look at the call logs. You can look at the amount of times that they were seen together publicly, the parties that they went together privately. Like I'm just, if you're an Epstein person, if you believe that people associated with Epstein were abusing children, like number one on the list is Donald Trump. That it will never be released under Donald Trump. It never will. And you guys have spent over a decade now claiming that Donald Trump would drain the swamp, that the deep state would be uncovered, and specifically when it came to Epstein, that Donald Trump would be the one. He had 4 years to do it. He didn't do it. He had another 4 years to do it. He didn't do it. During his first 4 years, when Ghislaine was going to jail or was going to court, he said, "I wish her well. I wish her well." Clearly saying like, "Hey, don't fucking rat me out. Don't rat me out, please." I don't know where she is, by the way. Where is she? He's in it. He's part of it. And that's how easy it is to dupe people, is that the thing that people claim they care the most about, children and protecting children and getting to the bottom of those who abuse children, that came secondary to winning an election. Everything Republicans claim they care about, it was actually all secondary to Trump winning. Trump winning became the only thing that mattered to any of these people. And now here we are. You're not getting what you want. Women are not being protected. And no bit of legislation that's being passed is doing anything but benefiting rich people. Grocery prices aren't coming down. They're not. And they're not going to come down. You got the Koch brothers buying up everything in the world, and they're doing so with Donald Trump looking the other way. You got these massive corporations robbing farmers. I'm going to show you some stuff here in a minute. But it's not coming down. J.D. Vance was asked, like, what's going on, J.D.? What's going on with your decision making? What's going on with these promises about grocery prices? JD Vance was with Face the Nation. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember this reporter's name. I apologize. And JD Vance is pressed on like groceries. And just listen, JD Vance is the best Republican right now at always taking whatever question he's asked and saying, I'm going to ask a different question and answer that different question instead of answering your question.
A lot of things that contributed to higher energy prices, and there was record oil and gas production.
Yes, Joe Biden did many terrible things to lead to an increase in prices. I agree, Margaret.
No, but all the things.
It's not a joke. She's like, there was record oil drilling. Yes, I agree. Joe Biden did many things that were bad, but he did the thing you guys said you're going to do, drill, baby, drill. He did that. I think the question that can always be asked, if drilling more oil makes gas prices go down, how come when we drill more oil, gas prices don't go down? I don't know why Republicans still think that's a thing.
You experience at the grocery store, or what people touch and feel. That's what you were talking about, bacon on the campaign trail.
Of course, of course.
Those things. When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes on trucks that are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive.
Yeah, but like, what about when gas prices are dropping and bacon prices keep going up? How do you explain that? How do you explain how gas prices go down and food prices go up? How do you explain that? Everything is so simple to them, right? Because either they don't know or they just know that this messaging works. But like, it's not that simple. If it was that simple, it would happen.
How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for produce it. So if we need bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon?
How do we grow the bacon? You just put in a bacon seed. You put it into the bacon seed into the ground, and then you cover it with gas, and then the bacon seed grows into bacon. I think that's how you grow the bacon.
Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
It's not. It's absolutely not what they're trying to fight for. In fact, I think if you look at farmers, when they say what's costing them the most money, here's the truth about what is costing farmers the most money.
Coke industry's got a lot of money, and that's their job as a corporation to make more money. They're the apex predator. If you really want to boil it down, as far as for me, I've become the prey.
Farmers in America's Corn Belt are struggling. Over the past few decades, the fertilizer they depend on to grow our food has become astronomically expensive.
There's no competition going on. And it's
become
I'm not a mathematician. Let me get this to the top.
Astronomically expensive.
Does it seem like something like that type of rise in cost of something that you desperately need would maybe be the reason more so than gas prices? Maybe that would be it.
There's no competition going on, and it's really, really frustrating.
Right now, just 4 companies, including Koch Industries, control more than 75% of the nitrogen fertilizer market, allowing them to drive up prices for farmers and reap record profits. And that's about to get even worse.
Koch Industries plans to buy one of the country's largest fertilizer companies.
Iowa State Auditor Rob Sand says Iowa taxpayers and Iowa farmers will suffer.
This sale could create a monopoly in the industry.
Plant Koch wants to buy was built with taxpayer subsidies to create more competition and lower prices.
And now here we're in a situation where we had all
just to be clear on that, like you had states say, like, we're going to give subsidies to the farmers. We're going to create and this is why like capitalism is so fucking flawed. You use state funds to build a fertilizer company. You give them subsidies. They build it up, and the whole point is to directly compete with these massive corporations who are raising the cost. And then at some point, they choke out your supply. They go after they undersell you to your competition, and then you're left with like, what's the option? And you have the Koch Industries buying them just a few years later. This is why capitalism is so fundamentally flawed without checks and balances. It's why it's important to have monopoly laws. That first graph, there's 4 players. 4 players. You think 4 people need to get all of the proceeds for fertilizer in this country? 4 companies?
These tax dollars go into building this plant, and yet now it's potentially going to be owned by the very same company that the plant existed to provide competition for.
We wanted to know how we ended up with a system that creates massive profits for multi-billion-dollar companies at the expense of the farmers who grow the food that feeds all of us, and how we might finally be able to fix it.
This is all I've ever known, is how to farm.
Harold Beach is a farmer and a board member of a co-op that sells fertilizer in northeastern Missouri. His farm has been in his family for 5 generations.
I left college and thought, well, I'll come home and farm a while till I decide what I want to do with life. And I guess I'm still trying to decide. Let's go by the anhydrous plant first, where we store it.
Anhydrous ammonia is a form of nitrogen fertilizer that's essential for many corn farmers, especially in this area. Right now, Harold's co-op gets it from Iowa Fertilizer Company, the plant Koch Industries wants to buy.
Corn's a big user of nitrogen, and so yeah, it's very important, the pricing of it. You think, well, $50, $70 a ton of product, well, that's not too bad, but that's in addition to the other $5 or $10 an acre for all the other inputs. You add that all up, pretty soon there's nothing left. I mean, you've essentially done it for nothing.
For corn farmers, almost 40% of their operating cost is just fertilizer.
That's insane. Like, if 40% of your operating costs are just fertilizer, then a small increase, and it was no small increase, decimates you. The problem with most of these farmers now is they're facing death, right? They barely make enough basically to live. They have no money left over. Many of them are going into debt every year and just carrying over that debt every year and paying interest on loans, hoping that at some point these prices will come down. Now, is this administration the one for the working people? Most of the people that are out here working these farms, most of them are voting Republican. Is there anything being done for them? No, they're taking millions of dollars from the Koch brothers and saying, we'll just give handouts to the Koch brothers, and we'll allow them to control everything. We'll allow factory farms to control everything. The people that are coming to take your jobs are capitalists. AI. The real threat to American jobs are capitalists, not immigrants. It's capitalists. They want they want to make the most money that they possibly can while paying out the lowest amount of labor that they possibly can. That's the goal. That's what capitalism is. The end when we say we're in end stages of capitalism, eventually when you remove the barriers to people gaining astronomical wealth, eventually there comes a place where you can't milk the American people anymore. And we're at that place. And these Americans can't even survive. Like, look at the amount of work that they've put in. Look at this beautiful facility. They can't even survive. They can't even afford to keep it open.
But it wasn't always like this.
It used to be with fertilizer, there was lots of different places handling it.
Do I hold, Kadarius, do you hold contempt for those who highlight false prophets who claim to be righteous but are really apostates leading people down a path of damnation? I hold contempt for all religion, all of it. I have a problem with all religion. So I think there's no such thing as prophets. And so all of them are false prophets. And being an apostate just means like you don't fall in line with one of those prophets. There's been hundreds of thousands of prophets in time, and following one meant you were an apostate to somebody who follows a different one. I think that's kind of silly, probably.
Anhydrous, we could buy it all day for $80 to $100 a ton, and now it's $700, $800 a ton.
Back in the 1980s, there were 46 companies making nitrogen fertilizer. Now there are just 17. As the industry consolidated, the price farmers pay has more than tripled. and profit margins for the biggest players in the industry.
Like, explain
Back
that,
in the
sorry.
1980s, consolidated the price.
Explain this chart. Explain how this makes any fucking sense. The number of people making fertilizer goes down, and while the number goes down, the price goes up. That's called capitalism. That's what happens when you have these massive companies that have to show profit, especially the publicly traded ones. This is capitalism. This is more money consolidated into fewer hands. In virtually every industry that exists in this country, this graph looks exactly the same. There were a ton of providers, and now there's almost none, and the profits have gone way up, meaning that the profit is consolidated in a few people's hands.
Farmers pay has more than tripled, and profit margins for the biggest players in the industry doubled.
All our big corporations talk
So his margins go down, Koch brother margins double. Cool.
about free markets, and we're just here to do the Lord's work, but no, they like a good fixed market too, just like everybody.
In 2012, the state of Iowa came up with a plan to fix this. Former Governor Terry Branstad offered an Egyptian fertilizer company huge tax incentives to build a plant in Iowa.
It's not very often that plant from $50 to $75 a ton cheaper.
But that could soon change. In December 2023, Iowa Fertilizer Company announced it was being bought by Koch Industries for $3.6 billion.
What I'm concerned about here is we had a purpose for investing these tax dollars. And that purpose was to maintain competition so that we would have lower prices for fertilizer for farmers and then lower prices for everybody for groceries.
What's really devastating about watching this video and seeing these folks in Iowa and in Minnesota and watching their livelihoods burn is that the people who keep telling them that they are there for them, they're we understand the farmers. Those people are the ones that are selling them out. And these people mostly have been raised on a steady diet of communism bad, socialism bad, Marxism bad. You know why they use Marx? Do you know why they always cite Marx and call people Marxists? It's because during the Cold War, everybody said that they were the enemy, and Marx became like essentially the de facto leader of what was happening in the USSR. They were the enemy, and it was the ideology that was the problem. And the reason that they were the enemy is because they had a problem with us doing capitalism over here, and they just wanted communism over there, and so we were fighting over communism. No, we fucking weren't. We weren't fighting about capitalism. We weren't fighting about communism. That was just something that was co-opted. That's just what the capitalists took. They're like, hey, this is a great opportunity for us. We're going to scare uneducated Americans, and we won't teach socialism, we won't teach communism, we won't teach Marx, we won't teach any of this stuff to anybody. We will only teach capitalism in our schools, and we will make people afraid of the very words socialism and communism and Marxism, despite the fact that Marxism is a critique of capitalism. It is a warning about capitalism, not to say that capitalism cannot exist, not to say that capitalism can't work, but to say that capitalism, when left unchecked without a state to act as a balance, becomes a bastardized. It becomes a place where the wealth accumulates in one spot and then it doesn't move, and that's where we're at. And the crazy thing is, if we don't say socialism, if we don't say communism, if we don't say Marxism, we still have to structure our language. We can't say single payer healthcare. We can't say universal healthcare. We live in a country that is so indoctrinated that the solutions to all of our problems, half the country has decided are evil. Somehow half this country of Christians has decided that helping each other is evil. Not selling out to corporations is evil. That's what we're up against. And I think really all we can do is take our generation and the generations younger than us and teach them about communism, teach them about Marxism, teach them about socialism, not as a way to indoctrinate, but as a way to get rid of indoctrination. We were all indoctrinated as capitalists, all of us. That's why it's so alarming for people in my life when I say, you know, like, I'm not like, capitalism is not that great. American exceptionalism is dead. They don't like that because it's consistently been like a us versus them, capitalism versus communism. The war was never about capitalism versus communism. It's never been about capitalism versus communism. USSR was not communist. They just used the word communism. There is nothing inherently evil about communism or socialism or, frankly, even capitalism. They are economic theories. They are not ideologies. They are not religions that should be adhered to. They are simply political economic ideas, and they kind of critique each other. You know, if we were struggling, if as a country we were living in communism and there happened to be a collection of power, which does happen, there happened to be the power and the money all collected by a handful of people, and the rest of us were starving, the solution to that would be free market capitalism, right? Like, that's how do you create wealth for people who don't have any wealth? Well, you can either take it from the rich or you can open up the markets. A natural solution to that would be capitalism, right? But when you have capitalism that has gone too far, and you have a voting base who's been told that the answer to capitalism is capitalism, and if you don't do capitalism to fix capitalism, you should next try capitalism. And if capitalism doesn't fix it, do capitalism. And just do, maybe you could cut taxes and do some more capitalism. It's like an ideology that capitalism is infallible. It's the same. People think about capitalism in the same way they think about their religion. It's just true. It's just true. And if we have faith, it'll work out. If we have faith in capitalism, it'll work out. It's just true. It's just a principle that is universally true. Is that if you have private ownership and you have capital that you can invest in other companies, everybody is elevated. It's just absolutely not true. Let me check messages real quick. We are way behind. Jen, do you want to come up and do your thing while I read messages? These messages better not be. Let me address what happened in the chat too. I understand there are some people who do not like some of the messages that are read. I'm fine. I'm going to say it if I have a problem with it. If you guys have a problem with it, that's okay too. But can we not argue about it in the chat? Can we not tone police each other in the chat? Sometimes people say shit that we don't like, and you can just move on. You just move on. It's okay. Bree says, choke out your supply, you say. Call me your supply, and let's get it done. We'll test that out. Test out moving on when you hear something you don't like. I did not mean to respond that way. Now back to you, Jay. If you say Jizz Lane one more time, I may show up at your door. I live on Jizz Lane, Maxwell Road. You can find it. It's in Mesa, Arizona. This comment is for Lifted Leftists. I knew it was coming, and anyone like him coming for me. I done told you that I got consent to make these comments. Don't be mad that you're not getting hit on. Jay can tell me when he's had enough, so fuck off. That's true. I can do that. I'm a big boy.
That I know you don't remember, but this person, the Lifted Leftist person, had came into this Discord 2 or 3 different, many different accounts pretending to be different people. He has been banned on 2, probably now 3 accounts on YouTube. I find it very ironic when he's talking about consent when he's clearly lacking consent.
Yeah, I appreciate people looking out for me. I do, but we're all good here. Brianna says, what's the difference between a software engineer and a doctor, Jen?
Software engineer and a doctor. I don't know.
Their reaction when hearing everybody is on the floor coding. It's pretty good. Yeah. All right, go ahead with your announcements. I'll do the math. Oh, wait, sorry, I missed one more. A text said, if Trump is in files, why didn't Biden release them?
My name's Tex, and I'm here to do some whataboutism. I just saw a bunch of pictures of Trump with Epstein. I saw Epstein talking about how they were best friends. And what I've decided to do in order to answer that question is a whataboutism. Because he's a fucking fossil. I don't know why he didn't do it. It doesn't change anything, Tex. Stop playing whataboutism with
fucking everything. This is why you're so goddamn mad, dude. You chose a side. You did exactly what I was just talking about with capitalism and religion. This is a religion to you. Your initial response to anything perceived as negative is whataboutism. You do it with every time I make a post. I made a factual post that you didn't like because it didn't include a bunch of other stuff. And you're like, this is unfair to Donald Trump. Who the fuck cares, brother? Who the fuck can you just hear something and be like, oh, that might be a thing? Don't whataboutism everything. That's why sex predators who are rich don't ever get in trouble, because of you, because you just let it happen, because you play whataboutism. I didn't see Biden in any of those pictures. I mentioned Clinton. I gave you a Democrat there. I said I mentioned Clinton 2 times. Why didn't Clinton do it? I don't know. But Trump said he would, and now he's not. So you got to tell me why Trump said he would do it, and now he's changing his mind. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I was waiting my turn. So we've got, what is it, like an hour and 15 minutes left. Is that the gift goal total accurate?
I'm doing it right now.
All right. So once he's finished updating the gift goal, we've got an hour and 15 minutes to hit that gift goal. This is our job. Currently, TikTok is not live. I don't know if you were able to see if you were able to reopen it over there or not. We had caught a ban for hate speech. It appealed and we won. So we should be back on that tomorrow, streaming from there. But we are trying to move over to Twitch and YouTube specifically. So if you aren't currently subscribed or following on the other platforms, if you're on Twitch and you're not on YouTube, flip around, please do that. And
thanks, Pushpop, for the super chat there. Said keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Oh, there was a Mystic. I think there was someone from yesterday. Did you check Venmos from yesterday?
Did I check Venmos from yesterday?
Yeah, I think Mystic.
Like on Sunday?
Sent one yesterday. That might have got missed.
Well, we weren't live yesterday.
Well, there was one sent yesterday.
Okay, so okay, what's the difference? Oh, that's the one I just read. Oh, she's maybe sent it again. There was only one from yesterday, and that's the one
Okay.
She might have sent it again. That's the joke I just read about the doctor. Thank you.
Okay, did you get the one in our DMs?
FOD says don't hate on the rodeo burger. Also, Bree says meat sauce, so get on it. Saucy meat rodeo for dinner.
I think that's illusions. I could be wrong, but I think that's illusion.
That's clever.
So yeah, that's about it. So hour and 15 left. Please don't let me down on this. We don't want to have arguments offline. Jay and I, we don't like fighting necessarily.
We don't fight. I just get beat up. I want to be clear on that. I don't even fight back.
Verbally.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Finishing up with that, I have one more video. Sorry, these videos are both kind of long, but I just wanted to point out again that Trump is no friend to the American farmer, and Democrats historically are. This is I believe in Iowa. There's an act that Tim Walz signed in Minnesota called the Right to Repair, and there have been many movements by Democrats, and I think there's been some bipartisan support for the act or the Right to Repair. This video is going to explain it a little bit, but and then I'll cut it. We'll go to the next one, but I just want to point out over and over again and consistently this entire administration, they do not care about you. They only care about rich people. They will do nothing to help poor people at all. There will not come a time when they do something for you that doesn't benefit rich people more than it benefits you.
I'm a third-generation Montana farmer rancher. I raise registered Black Angus. I also sell about 1,000 ton of hay. The operations of a new tractor are really nice. Modern equipment has a lot of sensors, electronic switches. These power shift transmissions are wonderful. But during the busy season, the tractor kept shutting down for no reason. It was weird. It would just randomly shut down. And so I thought maybe it was something in the fuel system. I changed the fuel filter, but it kept doing it. So then I finally called our John Deere mechanic, And he said, really, the only way we can figure this out is we got to hook up a computer and download the air codes. And I said, all right, can I come in and borrow it? Oh, no, we don't do that. And I said, okay, I'll rent it. How much does it cost to rent it? No, we don't rent it. Well, I had hay ready to bail. And that's a critical time because if you get a little rain, it could wreck the quality of the hay.
Makes it moldy.
He says, I can't get to you for a week. They aren't going to give me the tools to be able to fix it myself. I was stuck.
John Deere is costing farmers and
I just wanted to show that first part. So John Deere put a policy in place where only John Deere can fix your tractor. And in order to fix your tractor, you either have to wait till they can come to you or you have to ship the tractor to them, and you have to do that at your own cost. And they, if you fixed your own tractor, it voided your warranty. So Tim Walz, and I think it was bipartisan in Iowa, they have pushed through legislation saying that you have the right to fix your own tractor and you can't void the warranty for that. It was at the tune of literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, so much so that a lot of farmers have gone back and tried to buy tractors that are 20, 30 years old just so that they can actually fix it. They are actually going backwards in technology because it doesn't make any sense for them to buy a new John Deere tractor if they can't fix it when it breaks down. Now, we baled hay as a kid. I can tell you that, like, if rain was coming and we were baling hay and the sun went down, we kept going. You kept going because the rain will decimate it. So this is a person who desperately needs, and we were doing like small bales of hay, right? Like, well, we didn't have a big combine. We didn't have a commercial operation. Ours were the bale of hays that you could lift yourself. This person has bales that he cannot lift himself. He has to have a tractor. He has to lift it, and he's just shit out of luck. And that happens all over this country because we allow these massive corporations to run everything. And when they're when they're publicly traded and they worry about the stock price, they're going to milk anything out of the people that they can. So John Deere at some point recognized two things. One, people will fuck up their tractors when they try and fix them. But two, there was a missed opportunity there. McDonald's did the same thing with their ice cream machine. These massive corporations try and find any place they can extract money out for their investors, and this is one of those places. And again, these are farmers. These are the people that are keeping us fed. These people don't get a break. And when Donald Trump goes across the country and they show up in their red hats and they love him because he scared them about immigrants. And he made all of these people forget about their own lives. And I think that's the saddest part, is that all of these Trump supporters that we interact with day in and day out do not care about their own well-being. They set that aside because they're terrified of immigrants. They're terrified of war. They're terrified of wokeness. They don't want their kid to be othered. They don't want their kid to be marginalized. And Donald Trump sold that fear all over the country in a way that was palatable and made sense to them, so much so that they vote against their best interests. I would love to, if you guys have like farmer parents that ever want to come talk about this that are Republicans, I would love to talk to the Republican farmers and say, like, well, why? Why would you vote for this guy? What got better for you the first time around, and what's getting better for you now? Because it didn't get easier for farmers the first time around. Trump had to bail them out after he did his little tariff bullshit, which he does on a whim. He just offers tariffs on a whim. If any of you come from families, like farming families, I would love to know what your parents say about this if they voted for Trump, or your friends that voted for Trump that are out there farming. I want to know what they have to say, because he's doing nothing for them. You could break up those monopolies and immediately create high-paying jobs. You could have new companies being started. It would be more localized, which is great for food. It provides a healthier food source if things are localized. But no, Trump's going to do everything he can for these big magnates and these factory farmers. Let's get back to J.D. Vance in his interview. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. J.D. Vance also knows how dumb his listeners are, or his followers are, because this excuse doesn't fly for anybody. This only works if you're like, whatever he said you were going to eat up anyways.
Google, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. In August, you told us Google and Facebook are too big. We ought to take the Teddy Roosevelt approach. Break them up. Don't let them control what people are allowed to say. They've now donated to the Trump inauguration. Are you still going to break up big tech?
So you know who else was at the inauguration was my mom. And
so I know you asked me a question, and I'm going to change the question. You know who else was at the inauguration? My mom. And my mom doesn't own a big tech company.
a lot of people who just supported the president and fought every single day to get his election.
Who? Who's he talking about? I saw the stage. I didn't see any everyday people on that stage. I saw celebrities, and I saw rich people, and I saw people's moms. Do you think your mom was getting into that inauguration if you weren't her son? Like, J.D. Vance is so likable to Republicans because J.D. Vance does what they all wish they could do. Avoid answering any fucking question ever. And he's so scripted, but like, what a dumb... you said you wanted to break up the tech giants. Are you gonna, and now they're all giving you money. Do you want to break up the tech giants? Well, my mom was at the inauguration too. Great. Great. Not an answer.
And
they
to make
gave
it,
$1
and to make
million
it, and to make it possible
each to the inauguration.
Well, there were a lot of people who didn't give $1 million to the inauguration.
They got pretty good seating.
Who were on that stage.
Those were called family members. Everybody who didn't give millions of dollars to Trump on that stage were family or cabinet. That's it. You didn't have like random Trump supporters there. You didn't have like, well, we did a drawing and it just random Trump supporters could be up there on the stage. Like, he's such a fucking liar and such a phony, and he does it with this smirk on his face. And I hate him for you guys. I hate him for you. I just think that you deserve better.
Margaret, they didn't have as good a seating as my mom and a lot of other people who were there to support us. But look, we believe fundamentally that big tech does have too much power, and there are two ways they can go about this. They can either respect Americans' constitutional rights, they can stop engaging in censorship, and if they don't, you can be absolutely sure that Donald Trump's leadership is not going to look too kindly on them.
So they're still on notice.
They're very much.
Ironically, like, on a day we get banned from TikTok, they talk about censorship, and yet we can't call you guys Nazis. You guys had no problem with us being censored when we call you. That's what happened earlier. We called you Nazis, and I got kicked off of TikTok. They don't actually have a problem with censorship. They have a problem with facts being portrayed. Nobody was censored who wasn't saying insane things. I've never heard anybody defend somebody who got censored from Facebook with the actual comments that got them censored. Not once. It's always just like, oh, well, it's all of us. You know, if Jordan Peterson gets censored, then it's all of us. They could come for you. If they could come for us, they can come for you. No, they can't. No, they can't. One, because we're not saying insane things, and two, we don't have a massive following. So the chances of them finding us are slim to none. I'm just going to show you time after time here. That's 2 for 2, J.D. Vance. Being asked a question, avoiding the question, and answering something entirely different. Here's him when asked about his support for Viktor Orban. By the way, anybody notice that J.D. Vance is doing all the substantive stuff? And like Trump's just not doing anything. Trump didn't even go to the swearing in of Pete Hegseth. Like, it was J.D. Vance. Trump wasn't even there.
Successfully dealing with the left-wing domination of universities is Viktor Orban's approach in Hungary. I think his way has to be the model for us, not to eliminate universities, but to give the choice between survival or taking a much less biased approach to teaching. He seized control. And
by much less biased approach to teaching, he means make the biases right-wing biases. This is what is so. This is what's so damaging about America, and why fundamentally I don't know like that we can fix it. People now are asking for equal representation of truth and non-truth, facts and non-facts. They want our teacher. They're mad at our teachers for teaching real things. And they're like, but some people believe make-believe things, and the teachers aren't teaching that. Okay. I don't want my teacher teaching me make-believe things. I don't want teachers teaching my kids make-believe things. I don't want teachers giving my kids a lesson about Santa Claus. Unless it's like a history lesson of the history of like how Santa Claus came to be. I don't want them teaching about the validity of the Easter Bunny. When they say a less biased approach, what they mean is conservatives don't like science. And science science is always about 15 steps ahead of conservatives. And conservatives are tired of things changing. They don't like that stuff changes. They just want the truth to be the truth in 1950 and in 2000 and in 2020. They want the truth to be the same always. And they want their experience to be everybody else's experience. People going to college now shouldn't have an experience. By the way, colleges did this all through them growing up too. It all happened when they were growing up too. The only people that are really fighting for this are the people who don't go to college. I don't know anybody who's going to college like, man, I really hope I get more religious studies. I hope there's more required. I really hope they include the Bible in the curriculum. You know what I would love to do? You know what we don't teach enough in college? We don't teach enough about how white people are persecuted. We need to teach that in college. Nobody going to college wants to learn those things. What this is you have elites like J.D. Vance recognizing that the way that you keep people under control is by lying to them and perpetually telling them that they're victims. And so J.D. Vance, who has benefited massively from going to Yale, by the way, on a GI Bill, which, by the way, was funded by the public. And then, by the way, the fact that he was a conservative at Yale gave him attention from Peter Thiel, who, by the way, invested in his failed startup because J.D. Vance is a dog shit businessman. And by the way, after Peter Thiel lost money in J.D. Vance's company and J.D. Vance was proven to be a shitty leader and a bad businessman, Peter Thiel then backed his Senate campaign, but luckily it was in Ohio where all you have to do is be able to speak in full sentences for people to think you're a genius, and then you tell all those people that the government is weaponized against you, despite the fact that your existence on this platform only exists because the government paid for you to get there. It paid for your parents to have food stamps and food on the table so that you survived, and then it paid for your college education, and it paid for your public school education. Despite the fact that this is a product of a government who takes care of its people, who educates its people, who gives benefits to people who choose to serve in the military, despite the fact that this person doesn't exist in our minds unless the government was there funding he and his family all along the way, despite that, he convinces these people that government is the problem. It's absolutely insane. It's just corruption in its face. Why does he think this way? How did he go through his life with government assistance to suddenly being the guy who's against government assistance? Because he got rich and his friends are rich. And the government's saying, hey, we need help paying for this assistance that we gave people like you. And they're like, nah, fuck that. We're closing the door behind us. All this woke bullshit. Anybody remember the 60s? 70s? Anybody remember that? Anybody remember like naked hippies running around? We don't have naked hippies running around. We got these insane college, and good Lord, these fucking college students, they are out of their goddamn minds. You know what they were doing? College students in America, you know what they were doing? They were putting their own education on hold to advocate that we don't genocide a bunch of people. Holy Christ. What a bunch of woke freaking losers, dude. What, now you can't even be pro-genocide and go to school anymore? If you're pro-genocide, you gotta worry about people protesting? God damn. And what they allow people to self-identify? Oh my God, this is crazy. These fucking wokesters, man. They used to protest war in real ways. They would block streets. Shout out to those lefty college students for protesting something, but holy fuck, it's not like they're violent protests. They're sitting down. These guys are doing sit-ins so that we stop killing Palestinians. Are you fucking kidding me? Get them out. And if they're not citizens of this country, revoke their student visas. But the things that they attack, the wokeness that they attacked is fucking crazy. Well, we want the kids to be able to choose between being pro-genocide or anti-genocide, and we need professors who are teaching the benefits of genocide. All we ever talk about is the problems with genocide. How come nobody talks about the benefits of genocide? Says J.D. Vance.
Control of state universities and put them in foundations that were then run by his allies. Is that what you're advocating be done in the United
Yes.
States?
Well, Margaret, what you're seeing in the United States actually is that universities are controlled by left-wing foundations. They're not controlled by the American taxpayer, and yet the American taxpayer.
Who? What left-wing foundation organization controls the university? Somebody tell me. Who is it? We all know because it's obvious. And J.D. Vance wouldn't just speak in generalities there. Who? Who are these big left-wing companies that are pushing their ideology? Oh, yeah, like the left-wing private universities. I mean, I know about Liberty University, filthy rich. I know about Texas Christian. I know about Baylor. I know about Notre Dame. I know about Brigham Young. I know about Southern Methodist University. And I know that all of them, really, they're having a real revival. All those colleges, because now they can buy players. Now they can be like, hey, I know you don't want to come to our school because we're all Jesus freaks over here, but what if we paid you $4 million? BYU just got the number. I've been a BYU fan my whole life until I wasn't. But like most of my life, I was a BYU fan. I can tell you how many times we got a number 1 player in the country. It's 0. I can tell you the amount of times we got a top 10 player in the country. It's 0. It never happened. In fact, one time we had this coach. His name was Roger Reed. And there was a kid named Chris Burgess who was like a top 10 player in the country. And he was Mormon. And Chris Burgess decided to go to Stanford instead of BYU because it's Stanford and not BYU. And Roger Reed lost his job because Roger Reed went on public television, where I grew up, and said Chris Burgess is a traitor, essentially like a traitor to his church. He should be here. Everybody knows he should be here at the Lord's University, and he chose Stanford instead. And Roger Reed, who was a successful coach, lost his job. We never get players. Back-to-back years, BYU has gotten a top 5 player and the number 1 player in the country in football. Why? Money. There's a lot of fucking money, and they paid them like $6-7 million a year because you didn't used to be able to pay college students. So now you're seeing like Notre Dame was just in the national championship game. BYU's a player now. They've finished top 15 in the country. Their basketball team has a guy that's going to go top 5 in the NBA draft, and then they get the number 1 pick the next year too. Money. Because nobody wanted to go to these institutions. What he's talking about here is crazy. Like, who are these left-wing institutions who are taking over colleges? Left-wing, you know what left-wing colleges never have? Notoriety. Ever. They're never good at sports. They're never good at generating money. They provide people with a solid education. Case in point, Berkeley. Berkeley is never successful at sports. Every once in a while, they pump out like a good athlete. But when you go to Berkeley to learn. And when you come out of Berkeley, you can basically get whatever job you want because it's a great education. And he's like, oh, we need more Liberty universities. Nobody wants to hire you from Liberty University unless it's like Heritage Foundation. You don't want to hire Mormons out of BYU law school. You want to see if they went to a different law school. But if they did go to BYU law school, at least you know they don't have a problem with lying, and they probably don't want to be around their family anyway, so they're going to work a lot of hours for you.
Is sending hundreds of billions of dollars to these universities every single year.
I don't want taxpayers controlling education necessarily. Is that what you're advocating for, federal government?
Margaret, what I'm advocating for is for taxpayers to have a say in how their money is spent. Universities are part of a social contract in this country. They educate our children. They produce important intellectual property. They get a...
Taxpayers do have a say. Your state taxes go to universities. You do have a say. That's how voting works. You vote for your representatives. They decide where the funding goes. They do have a say. This is a made-up thing. It's just a pressure campaign to put on colleges so that they don't recognize trans people, and they don't go after the schools who discriminate based on gender, sex, race, religion, whatever it might be.
a lot of money because of it. But if they're not educating our children well and they're layering the next generation down in mountains of student debt, then they're not meeting their end of the bargain. I think it's totally reasonable to say there needs to be a political solution to that problem.
Well, America's universities still attract talent from around the world.
What is the political solution, by the way? Because their solution is undo DEI, undo Title IX, undo shit. What did he just undo today? Fuck, what was it called? Somebody help me out on this. Undo. What's the third thing? Anyways, we'll keep it going.
You've went to one of America's very top schools.
Look, there's still good things about American universities, but it's going in the wrong direction, Margaret.
But Viktor Orban in particular, as you know, I mean, he rewrote the Constitution, he neutered the courts, he has tried to control the media. These are not necessarily conservative principles. So why would you?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're almost exclusively conservative principles. Almost exclusively conservative principles. The thing is like when they say the left controls the media, you know why? Because people are left. Most people are left. In this country, the overwhelming majority of people on social issues are left. On every issue, the overwhelming majority are left. And by the way, people who care about academics, that's even skewed further to the left. They show these charts all the time. They're like, look at this, the amount of academics, the amount of professors who are on the right. It's like 5%. Yeah, I wonder why that is. I wonder if that has anything to do with your messaging that money is king and education is dog shit and you don't need education. And that the true heroes of this country are the capitalists who are making millions of dollars. I wonder if it's you saying that that woke education is nonsense, that learning things like psychiatry is a problem, that wanting to be a school teacher is not admirable because they don't incentivize any of that stuff. I can tell you, as somebody who was raised conservative, we all said, oh, we love our teachers, but the last thing you wanted to say to your friends or your family is like, yeah, I want to be a teacher. It's like, oh, you don't want to be a dentist? You could be a dentist, but Mormons do lots of dentists. We are great at dentists. It was always about like how much money you were going to make. Everybody that was celebrated, it was about money. I have to tell you, we didn't give a shit about teachers. My mom was a school teacher, a public school teacher her whole life. You know what she hated more than anything? Unions. She goddamn hated unions for no reason. She just knew she was supposed to hate unions. Well, all they do is they suck up the money. Oh, is that why you guys are getting paid dog shit? Because the union sucked up all the money? That's why? Got it.
I want to mimic him.
Well, look, I'm not endorsing every single thing that Viktor Orban has ever done. I don't know everything he's ever done. What I do think is on the university principle, the idea that taxpayers should have some influence in how their money is spent at these universities, it's a totally reasonable thing. And I do think that he's made some smart decisions there that we could learn from the United States.
Well, he was just.
Anytime you're shouting out Viktor Orban and you're saying taxpayers should have a say in the in what colleges teach, that's called fascism. Viktor Orban is a fascist. And when you're trying to take over the education and the media because they don't like your message, you're a fascist. That's what you are. If you wanted to take over media, have better ideas. That's how you lost the media in the first place. It's ironically like how you've gained new media. You just got all like the dumbest people. It's every media influencer on the right is just a fucking moron. They don't know anything about, but like Sean Ryan doesn't know a goddamn thing about politics. Joe Rogan doesn't know a goddamn thing about politics. Dr. Phil doesn't know a goddamn thing about politics. They barely can. Joe Rogan doesn't seem to understand the difference between what's real and what's not. He has no clue. Same with Sean Ryan. They've got a bunch of really loyal foot soldiers who got cool talking about like it's cool if you don't censor your speech. It's cool if you don't give a fuck. You tell the government fuck you if they try and tell you that what you're saying is rude. All right. And then just a little more JD Vance hypocrisy here to close things off from this interview.
2 weeks ago, you were on Fox News and you said if you protested peacefully on January 6th and had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Did you counsel the president against these blanket pardons for 1,500 people?
Well, Margaret, I noticed
including those who committed violence.
Margaret, I noticed that you cut off the thing that I said immediately after that. The full quote is that, of course, there are gray areas. And here's the...
And by gray areas, of course, I mean areas where I previously said I was against, but now, because I am a lapdog for Donald Trump, I have to pretend are gray. So what I'm going to do now, Martha, is I'm going to claim that you're a liar, and I'm going to spin what I said previously and call it a gray area. Now, remember what he said is that anybody who assaulted a police officer should not be pardoned. Anybody. Anyone who pardoned a police officer should not be pardoned. So what's the gray area, JD?
The nature of the gray area. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice denied constitutional protections in the prosecutions. There were double...
Who was denied constitutional protections? I've never seen any evidence of that.
Standards and how sentences were applied to the J6 protesters versus other groups. What the president said consistently on the campaign is that he was going to look at a case-by-case basis, and that's exactly what we did. We looked at...
You did blanket pardons. Like the way that they'll just lie right in front of your fucking face. No, they didn't. They did not do a case-by-case. That didn't happen. He didn't even have Pam Bondi yet. What, Donald Trump went through case by case? Who did the case by case here? Trump, I read through all the legal documents and I have such a good understanding. No. You did blanket pardons and he's just lying. This is the same. This is the same person who literally sat there and was so mad at a bishop. That fucking bishop told us we should have empathy. Fuck the bishops.
1,600 cases. And the thing that came out of it, Margaret, is that there was a massive denial of due process of liberty, and a lot of people were denied their constitutional rights. The president...
What's a due process of liberty? That doesn't mean anything. MAGA, you guys got to start seeing through this shit, just so that, so your kids don't think you're fucking dumb. Okay? This is going to be in the history books. And your kids are going to see that dumb fucking red hat that you keep on your shelf for decades and be like, oh, Donald Trump must have been a smart guy. J.D. Vance must have been a smart guy. And then we're going to show them interviews, and they'll be like, what? Hold up. Is my dad dumb? Was he dumb the whole time? Yeah, he's dumb. Your dad's fucking dumb. Your dad's dumb. Because he fell for this.
Believes that. I believe
that. Yeah, thank you. They pled guilty. Most of them pled guilty. It was not fair. They said they were guilty. Well, gray area. It's a gray area. They said quilty. They didn't understand the question. They thought we were quilty. It was quilty. They were feeling quilty that day. They wanted to be crafty.
That, and I think he made the right decision.
Daniel Rodriguez used an electroshock weapon against a policeman who was dragged out of the defensive line by plunging it into the officer's neck.
Did he plunge it into his neck, or did he plunge it into a gray area? That's what we got to know, JD. He probably plunged it into a gray area, right? He was wearing a gray scarf at the time. That is a gray area.
Imprisoned, sentenced to 12 years, 7 months. He got a pardon. Ronald Maccabee hit a cop while wearing reinforced brass knuckle gloves, and he held one down on the ground as
the brass knuckles were painted gray, and his gloves were also gray.
Other rioters assailed the officer for over 20 seconds, causing a concussion. If you stand with law enforcement, how can you call these people unjustly imprisoned?
Margaret, you're separating. There's an important issue here. There's what the people actually did on January the 6th, and we're not saying that everybody did everything perfectly. And then
yeah. Nobody's accusing you of saying everybody did everything perfectly. We get that.
What did Merrick Garland's Department of Justice do in unjustly prosecuting well over 1,000 Americans in a way that was politically motivated?
Is violence like that against a police officer ever justified?
Violence against a police officer is not justified, but that doesn't mean that you should have Merrick Garland's weaponized Department of Justice expose you to incredibly unfair process, to denial of constitutional rights, and frankly, to a double standard that was not applied to many people, including, of course, the Black Lives Matter rioters who killed over 24 people and never had the weight of a weaponized Department of Justice come against them.
You know what happened? The reason they don't call it a weaponized Department of Justice is because it was the same Department of Justice that prosecuted them. Overwhelmingly, most of those cases wound up being prosecuted by Joe Biden's DOJ. Joe Biden didn't give them blanket pardons. And again, 15,000. He's talking about 1,000, a little more than 1,000 people being arrested. 15,000 were arrested in the Black Lives Matter protest. Hundreds, like 750 something people pled guilty or were found guilty. Many of them, the ones that were that committed arson and violence against police, many of them are serving in prison right now. Right now, they're if this is really about like a weaponized justice, why didn't they pardon any of the people from the Black Lives Matter riots? If this was really that it was weaponized and it was unfair to them, why are the people that did the crimes during the Black Lives Matter rallies, why are they still sitting in prison and these people are free? Because he's a fucking liar. Hi, Jen.
Okay. I'm here to do my spiel. So we've got not 45 minutes. 40 minutes left of the show. So do we have any messages waiting?
Yeah, I'm just finding where the last one stopped. Go ahead.
Okay. So he'll check and see. We've got about, like I said, 40 minutes left to hit the gift goal. It's to the top left. Currently says 215, but it's probably a little lower than that since he has some messages. We're still pretty far away from the gift goal with 40 minutes left. So if we could get on that, that would be fantastic because this is our job. So please, please, please do that. If you're on Twitch and you haven't subscribed to us over on YouTube, please do, and vice versa. There should be links for both of those. It's RCP Talks, I believe, on both platforms. We should be back streaming live on TikTok as well tomorrow. And then, so once we get up to 500 subscribers, we will get an RTP calendar where we can pick some poses, outfits, all that fun stuff to make it exciting. So we're on our way, but we're still a ways away from hitting that goal. So if you guys could, one of the paid memberships, like we've got as low as $2.99 over on YouTube. So please do that. And then I was looking for a new joke because I didn't have. Let's see. There's some of these jokes where I just wouldn't want to say them to.
Thanks for those. Thanks. Someone just came through. I got an alert. I don't know what that was actually.
Yeah, some of these are just gross. I can't say some of these to you.
Oh yeah, it's hard to read gross things out loud sometimes.
To you.
Oh okay.
To you.
Oh okay.
I can't say them to you.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll come back with a different one because none of these. I'm not saying any of these. These are gross. Here I've got some other ones that are not as good.
All right.
What did the grape say when he was pinched?
What did the grape say when he was pinched?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Nothing. He gave a little wine.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Chelsea says, "Dollar Train. Most of us can send $1, right? Let's go." Thank you, Chelsea. That'd be neat. She started. Bree says, "I was working and heard milked out. Was that an invite for me to come milk you? I got an outfit ready for that role." No, but I think I've told the story before of the massage I got where the lady that massaging me started talking to me about her previous career and how she used to do milking and it's called cock tying. You can look that up. It was a fascinating conversation to have during a massage. And if anybody is like thinking that was cool or like sexy, my massage therapist did look exactly like Danny DeVito and was approximately 65 years old. So if that's your thing, great. For me, that's not really my type. Bree says, "If you stuck with your Mormonism, you might be a dentist." I'd let you play in my mouth. Thank you, Bree. I was never going to be a dentist. Bree says, "Welcome, Eshel, to the community. They found us on Twitch today and made a great point in the comments. What happened to the January 6ers being BLM and Antifa? Why would they pardon them if that were the case? Math isn't mathing. Welcome, Eschel. Hopefully I said that right. And yeah, facts. Absolute fact. Why aren't we why are we pardoning Antifa and BLM? It's a great point. Jen said to get on it. I'm ready to hop on, baby. Thank you, Bree. Vanessa says blue hearts. Thank you, Vanessa. Devin says, fly, Eagles fly. I just hate the Chiefs. I'm with you. We're all Eagles fans with you now. And Betsy says, just because. And I think I got all of them. All right, let's let JD finish things off here.
Pardon power is not just for people who are angels or people who are perfect. And of course, we love our law enforcement and want people to be peaceful with everybody, but especially with our good cops. That's a separate issue from what Merrick Garland's Department of Justice did. We rectified a wrong, and I stand by it.
Like if cowardly sniveling bitch had a face, it's that one. What a fucking sellout. What a class traitor. We put you where you're at, JD. Our funds gave you every opportunity in the world, and then when you rose to the top, you're like, fuck it, I'm selling out to the billionaires. You absolute fucking coward. That's who JD Vance is. You cannot be in the Trump administration. You cannot work for Donald Trump and not be a cowardly little bitch. It's not possible because you have to go out and defend dumb shit. 2 weeks ago, he's like, yeah, we're not going to pardon the violent ones. And then they pardon him. He's like, oh, well, yeah. What I didn't tell you 2 weeks ago is there was gray area. You know, I was only talking about black and white, but now there's gray area. And as it turns out, when we reviewed these cases, it was all gray area. Everybody was in the gray area. So I didn't lie to you then, and I'm not lying to you now. You didn't know about the gray area. Little cowards. You have to be a coward to even be to be a Trump supporter at this point. Fuck being in his administration. If you're still backing what this guy's saying, like, you're just a coward. That's all there is to it. You recognize what's happening. You see what's happening. You see that we're clearly targeting people. We're doing exactly what the Nazis did pre-Holocaust, and you're just too cowardly to say it. And I get it, I guess. It's a point of pride. But it feels good when you say it. It feels good when you say it. And it feels good. I can tell you, maybe more than anything, the best feeling in the world is when you're a conservative and you do what's right, and then people stop calling you a Nazi. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling because they stop calling you a Nazi when you stop acting like one. So if you do things that are not Nazi adjacent, they won't call you that anymore, and it feels good. I just got to tell you. RFK, we'll move on to RFK. Speaking of cowardly little bitches, he is undergoing Senate hearings for his nomination. I just want to point out that RFK historically lies about everything, and he will lie right here in front of our face again, which is why on our side of the aisle, we don't like RFK. On our side of the aisle, we didn't want to vote for RFK. And on your side of the aisle, you took him in. Congratulations to the Republicans for taking our rejects and then putting them in positions of power. Great. They played you. Like, even our dumbest people, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, even our dumbest ones are able to trick you.
You have gained notoriety for your skepticism about vaccines. And over the summer in an interview, you said, quote, there's no vaccine that is, safe and effective. Do you still believe that?
I never said that.
So stop me. We have the clip. Please play the clip.
Is this Marianne Williamson all over? I never said that. Here's the clip exactly of you saying that.
Talked about that the media slanders you. By
it's quiet. Sorry, I turned it down for Jen. Thank you.
Calling you an anti-vaxxer. And you've said that you're not anti-vaccine, you're pro-safe vaccine. Difficult question. Can you name any vaccines that you think are good?
I think some of the live virus vaccines are probably averting more problems than they're causing. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective. What I'm saying is that none of these.
So exactly what she said, word for word. I did not say that. She quoted him word for word. He said, I didn't say that. And now coming back on, he's not going to say, oh, I did say that. He's like, what I'm saying in that you read exactly that I claimed I didn't say. Here's what I really meant.
72 vaccines has ever been tested in a safety study.
Okay.
Pre-licensing.
So let me ask you if you think it's wise for people to take.
This is an interesting argument that he makes all the time. So his argument is that pre-licensing, you didn't have like big enough safety studies. It's because you can't really have a big enough safety study without it being licensed, without it going out to the masses. It's tested. There's testing done before it gets approved. But obviously, like most of the testing on all of these vaccines is done post-approval. That's where we find out most of the stuff, especially if we're talking about like long-term side effects. If you're going to have side effects showing up 20 years later, that's the trade-off. Like this anti-scientific approach that he and Republicans have taken is basically to say, let's say that we have a vaccine and for 30 years we don't know any of the side effects, and then 30 years later we find out that there's a side effect for that vaccine that is worse than what the vaccine is doing to help people. Well, then you pull it, right? Then you pull it. But what he's saying is we should never approve any vaccines. Under what he's saying, no vaccines should be available. We shouldn't have vaccines. So I hope you like chickenpox. I hope you like polio. Hope you like malaria. Hope you like all these things. Hope you like COVID. Hope you like bird flu, because we'll never approve anything. It's an impossible standard, and they only use that because that's his only point. He can't actually. It's interesting when he comes on CNN, when he's in front of Congress. He has all these outs, but when he's on a friendly podcast, like he was there with Lex Friedman, he's a totally different guy. All of these people put a mask on when they come into public because they're not in public. They know that if they say the things that they really mean, even their most ardent supporters are going to be like, wait a minute. So they lie to us. They lie to you. They lie to the supporters. They lie to everyone all the time. And MAGA, you guys have just become people who are accustomed to being lied to. And you think you're in on it. Like, oh, yeah, we know they're lying to us. We're in on the game. No, they're just lying to you. And RFK's is the most confusing one because he seems to be lying for no fucking reason. Like, I don't know what he benefits from this other than money from anti-vax communities. It's not a substantial amount. I mean, I don't know how much he makes. Maybe it's substantial to him. You know, a few $100,000 a year is basically what he benefits from.
These vaccines, because you had this to say on a different podcast about whether people with young babies should be getting them shots. Watch.
For many, many years, I think parents were so gaslighted and they were scapegoated and they were vilified and marginalized, so that even parents of kids who were very, very badly injured knew what happened to their kid, but they were just reluctant to talk about it. And I think now those days are over. Our job is to resist and to talk about it to everybody.
Our job is to resist being vaccinated and then never and talk about it to everybody. If you ever wondered why your anti-vax friends are so goddamn annoying, you can thank RFK here. Make sure you resist everything and never shut up about it.
If you're walking down the street and...
Hey, Tone, by the way, you're welcome anytime. You ever want to have a debate, you're welcome. My DMs are open. You're welcome to come up and have a debate anytime. We'll just schedule it. So don't worry about that, bud. It's nice to have you here. You're welcome to hang out, but debating's fine. We're all cool with debate. You just got to schedule it.
I do this now myself, which is, I don't want to do, I'm not a busybody. I see somebody on a hiking trail carrying a little baby, and I say to them, better not get them vaccinated. And you hear that.
You know how annoying that would be? Just on a hike with your kid, and some Kermit the Frog fucker comes up to you like, don't vaccinate your kid. All right. Thank you, sir. Are you a doctor? I am not, but I am a Kennedy, and I went to law school. Great. Thank you for literally nothing. Appreciate it.
That, for me, if he hears it from 10 other people, maybe he won't do it. Maybe he will save that child.
Maybe he will save that child. You think preventing vaccines for a child will save that child? Do you still say this to parents today?
What I say again is I had 3 vaccines, Casey, when I was a kid, and I was fully compliant. My kids got 72. The current recommendations are, I think, around 77. And
I have a vaccine record for my child, and there are not 77
There are
shots on there.
77 doses. There are 72 doses of 16 vaccines.
How come he didn't say it the first time? Why didn't he say it like that the first time? It's always like scare tactics. It's always. Also, what's going on with your kids? What's going on with RFK's kids that has him so concerned? Do his kids have health problems? By the way, everybody in the Kennedy family seems to have this voice thing going on. Some have said it's because of years of inbreeding. That's what some people have said.
Oh, that's just a fact.
It's just a fact. I don't even know I don't even know what fact he's getting at there. There's literally no evidence, none. That, like, they say you need to space out your children's vaccines when they're younger. Like, some people have taken that. There's even a vaccine schedule now. The doctor who came up with the vaccine schedule, when asked, like, why did you do that? He's like, just to make parents feel happy. Do you have evidence that it was needed? No, it's just that parents freak the fuck out. And so I just made a different vaccine schedule so they could still vaccinate their kids and be comfortable. But again, there's no link to these vaccines causing future problems down the line. No. Side effects are rare. Side effects are very, very rare, but the vaccines cause autism one is crazy. Like, vaccines cause autism is the equivalent of the Earth is flat, and vaccines cause autism guy is in charge of HHS, probably, maybe not, maybe they'll maybe he'll be thwarted. Even the Republicans are not happy about RFK, maybe for different reasons. This is an attack ad that was put out by Mike Pence's super PAC, which. Can you imagine being a person who gives money to Mike Pence's super PAC? You're like, we need more Mike Pence in this world. This is an attack ad they put out, though, this week.
Kennedy Jr. has been nominated to serve as Secretary of Health and Human Services, but RFK has supported full-term abortion.
I believe as a way we should leave it to the woman. We shouldn't have government involved.
Even if it's full term.
Even if it's full term.
Should he really be?
The music for that is, should women really be allowed to make their own choices?
In such an important position over Americans' health? Visit rfkquestions.com.
Let's see, advance it. Let's see rfkquestions.com. Let's see what that looks like here. Yeah, this website sucks. It just posted a Word doc. This is the most Mike Pence possible website. Go to our website where Mike Pence has typed out and taken a picture of his letter saying, I don't. This is horrendous. Like, what are the tabs? Issues. What is this? Oh, this was go to Biden-Harris accountability tracker. What do we have there? All right. That's just, yeah, this is a terrible website. This is the Mike Pence of websites. That's your landing page of, what was it? RFK whatever.com. Fuckrfk.com. That's their landing page. Let's see. The questions that we should ask him. What do you believe that, when do you believe that life should be protected? Is there a certain gestational age or level of development? Are there any extenuating circumstances in which you believe the unborn children should not be protected? The abortion pill is connected, doesn't it? This one's crazy. The abortion pill is connected to dozens of deaths across the country. Bro, water is responsible for thousands of deaths. Salt is responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths. Getting hit by a shovel is more than dozens. That is not a significant number of people. Dozens of deaths across the country, which means it's probably like 25. Just enough where dozens can be plural. How many? Let's see. How many? Actually, you guys look it up. I can't fix it without ChatGPT, and I'm not going to yelled at for using ChatGPT again. Will you commit to taking every step possible to stop the flow of taxpayer funding via Title 10, Medicaid reimbursements, and other grants? The Biden administration eliminated the Conscience and Religious Freedom Division within HHS Office for Civil Rights. Will you protect the conscience rights of Americans who are forced by their employers to perform abortions against their will? Not all states share their abortion data. Will you force states to do abortion data? All right, cool. All the most pertinent questions from the Christian right. All the most important questions. Let me check messages one more time. Jesus, Bree says, hold up, am I your type? Answer the question, please. I do not have a type. I just don't have a type. So you're smart. That's type 1. Can you hold a conversation about something with depth? Yes. Okay, you're in. B Goosen says, love, you've been watching for a while. Also message me on TikTok if you want an online personal trainer to get you snatched for the photo shoot. Snatched? I thought that was a bad thing. Do I want to be snatched? Listen, can you do it without me working too hard? Is there something we can do where you don't have to work terribly hard and get snatched? Jasmine says, for joining the Dollar Train for all the work you and Jen do. Thank you, Jasmine. Appreciate that very much. Oh, every time it scares me. Hi, Jen.
Hey.
Hey.
You guys don't know, so we have a Discord just for him and I. So I've actually left, so like I don't scare you as much with just me speaking because I had it muted before. So at least that's better, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know how loud you are still to people. I think we're good. For some reason, your mic today, which your mic is always way too quiet, and today you just somehow went in the opposite direction. I don't know how you did it, but it's impressive.
Well, it's the reason why is we've had our other chats, I've used my computer. Right now, I'm holding my phone in my hand, and it's right next to my mouth.
That's cute.
Yeah. So, you have more messages?
No, I'm just doing the math.
Okay.
We're going to sit here in silence while that happens.
Yeah, I want to see how fast you can do the math. It shouldn't take that long.
It shouldn't. It certainly shouldn't.
Performance anxiety.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got about 20 minutes left. When he gets over his performance anxiety, we'll know the total. So we need to hit that. It's in the top left where it says the gift goal by the end of the live. So 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time is typically when we end. So if we could get on that to wrap it up, is that 1:45? Is that what I'm saying?
That is correct. Bree says she sent another one. She said, so you're saying, yes, I am your type, and you're the one who mentioned having a type in the first place. Did I mention? I think I used to have a type, but you're not my old type. You don't have daddy issues. You're not just either coming out of a religious cult or hiding your sins from a religious cult. Damaged by the cult was like my number one. That was that was my type. If you have been damaged mentally, emotionally, and spiritually by the cult, then that was my type, because we could just be broken together.
You're just awkward. I mean, it's entertaining to watch, like, how you interact with this. It's I know like you're just cringing inside, and it makes me laugh. I think it's funny.
Wait, hold on. Yes, everybody. I don't have a type, so you're my type. Everybody's my type. That's it. That's the answer. I don't know why I'm getting yelled at by Bree about that. It's just that's the answer.
You've got. I mean, you just issues. I think issues is a type in some ways.
Well, look, you know my type. Loud as a motorbike, wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Pretends to be certain things on the internet that they may not actually be.
If you are a fish with whiskers, you may be my type. Yeah.
Likes to stay up till forever and never sleep. Might be a vampire.
Correct. Yeah. If you consistently get shithoused and then do a bunch of snow and then go on lives at 4 a.m. and scream at people.
Let it snow. Let it snow.
Then you may just be my type. Yeah.
Right. So we've got what now? Almost 15 minutes left for the 1:45. If we could blow the rest of that out, that would be fantastic. If you're not subscribed to us or with a membership, preferably over onto YouTube, and if you're in the position to do so, we would appreciate it. If not, just subscribe to us in general. Click on some buttons, like some things. We're trying to make more content posted there on a regular basis. So if you could just interact with that, we would be more than grateful. I think we should be hitting Twitch affiliate either today or tomorrow, so we should get some membership stuff onto Twitch. Some subscriptions there. We can do some emotes. With the I don't know. We're going to do a calendar once we get 500 memberships over on YouTube. So if you want an RTP calendar, that's
the worst idea we've come up with so far. But
that wasn't whose idea was
mine.
this?
It was mine.
So
I thought it would happen quick. I was like, I should have set a time limit on it. That's what I'm realizing. Because now there's no time. This could just happen. What if it happens 30 years from now? And then it's just my wrinkled ass on a calendar. I guess that's it. Might be better, actually.
I mean,
Dondrell, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. David said to avoid Jen's abuse. Thank you, David. Appreciate that, my friend.
I'm just...
Ew. And Alyssa says, anyone else been dealing with constant anxiety for the last week asking for a friend? Yeah, that's just life now, Alyssa. It's just what we just call that life. Cam says, Dollar Train 22. Thank you, Cam. Bree says, now I'm insulted. You know everyone isn't your type. Now I'm a yell. Yes or no? I don't know. Jen, how am I answering this question incorrectly? Can you explain it to me? I don't have a type. I really don't. I don't know how to answer this question.
Honest, I mean, I've seen some of the interests over the time that we've known each other. He doesn't necessarily have a type. He's not wrong. He's not lying on that one. So I mean,
if I can talk to you for long periods of time and not get annoyed, like you're there. That's really what my type is.
Yeah, and the real trick is people not getting annoyed with you. That's the real trick.
That seems to be the biggest flaw, is that people get to know me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
But so yeah. So do we have other? Where are we at before I leave?
I think I got him, but Mikey was just making me laugh. I'm pretty sure I got him.
Got what? All the.
Yeah, I'll have to do some more math here in a second, but I think I got him.
I tried to. So if you guys don't know, I do a lot of spreadsheets. I'm a nerd that way. So I've tried to say, oh yeah, organization's awful. Anyway, I tried to say, you just have like a little spreadsheet with all the numbers running, and that would work. But no, that's not.
Well, the truth is, I have to set up new Venmos and Cash App. But I'm hoping that, and by the way, it's gone a long way today. Just like for anybody who, I know we guilt you from time to time, but we've had roughly 500 people here all day. That makes a massive difference for us. Just so you know, like that's a massive difference. And I don't think that we'll be asking for crowdfunding. If we can keep those types of numbers, we won't have to ask for crowdfunding much longer. We'll be able to fund this on our own. So even for anybody who doesn't like donating or it doesn't feel like they can, just being here is massive for us, and we thank you for that.
Exactly. So if the FOD, if you're not Illusion, correct me. They want to know my type. I don't have one. I swore off their species a couple of years ago. So
as long as you can't talk, Jen's like relatively okay with you.
Yeah. I'm trying. My spawn's gonna be messed up because she's mine, but I'm trying to limit.
I saw it too. I actually just said that out loud, but you didn't hear it. Yeah, that's tough.
No, I mean, it's not wrong.
It's not.
It's not wrong. Anyway, I know she's gonna need therapy, but I'm trying to limit how much of it that's directly because of me. So I've sworn off the dating for a bit. So.
Daddy Lucy says my boyfriend wants to know if you're single, and yes, he's interested. I guess that's just one question. Yeah, I am single. I'm currently single. However, to my knowledge, not attracted to men so far. That's where we're at. We'll see. Dollar Train from Michelle, thank you. And she also adds that she's rooting for Bree. Thank you, Michelle. All right. I think that's it. Anything else, Jen, while I do this?
I'm just double checking. Someone's asking if you got a Venmo. I'm asking what. So whoever just DM'd me, if you want to just tell me what it said, I'll double check to make sure it was right or we received it.
Terrific.
So I'll keep your DMs to watch so that I can once I get that answer, we can double check to make sure you got it. Okay. So other than that, I think that's it. Let me see. How do you catch a naked man that breaks into a church?
I don't know. That's daring, though.
Catch him by the organ.
Oof. That's kind of what I was thinking. It was along the lines of what I was thinking.
All right, bye.
Right. I think I added in the super chats. I'm pretty sure I added those in, right? To answer your question, Kelso. All right. How much time do we have left? 12 minutes. Let's go. This is what I was talking about with vaccine income. If you want to know, I don't know what RFK's income looks like. So I don't know if this is a significant amount of money for him or if it's not. But he failed to report making hundreds of thousands of dollars off his anti-vaccine nonprofit, which he claimed he never took a cent from. I like how they frame it. The failed presidential candidate and Trump's nominee to serve as Department of Health and Human Services owned up to an inadvertent error. Remember, he's a fucking liar, and he said, I've never made a cent from them. And then he had an inadvertent error in his financial disclosure forms that concealed the actual amount he was bringing from Children's Health Defense, which is a 501c nonprofit founded in 2007, showed that he made $500,000 in 2022. And again, he doesn't take any money from them, but somehow he took $500,000 from them, and $326,000 for his 15 weeks of work in 2023. So again, he didn't take any money from them, but also took $836,000 from them, just short of $1 million. But in a corrected filing last month, he revealed that $836,000 is what he actually made in 2022. In the filing, he claimed he mistakenly reported the net pay received as opposed to gross wages. To me, this looks like this looks like tax fraud to me. Isn't it weird that the money he made in 2022 and the money he made for the first 15 weeks of 2023 make up the exact amount he actually made in 2022? That looks an awful lot like tax fraud to me. And again, he said he didn't make any money, but he made just under $1 million. Interesting there. He said, in fact, he didn't make any money off the group. In fact, it was called the opposite of a profit motive during an appearance on InfoWars, which, of course, he was on InfoWars. That's Alex Jones. In 2017, he told Tucker, I'm getting unpaid for this. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. Between 2017 and 2023, Kennedy earned $2.2 million, according to the group's federal tax filings. So not only is he a liar, he might be a tax cheat, and goddamn it, he fits right in with the Republicans. If you want to become a Republican, you better be cheating on your taxes. It's very important. I wanted to show you, this is John McCullers testifying about the harm caused by RFK and other prominent anti-vaxxers, the harm that they actually do to people.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks, Netnini. Welcome.
Dr. McCullers, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Alexander, Ranking Member Murray, other members of the committee. My name is John McCullers. I'm the Chair of Pediatrics at the University of Tennessee and the Pediatrician-in-Chief at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital in Memphis. As someone who has devoted his career to the child health sphere, I truly believe there's no more precious resource than our children, and they should be protected by all means available to us. They really are the future of this nation. The childhood vaccination program in the United States has proven to be one of the most powerful public health achievements in our history. In the first half of the 20th century, there were more than 1 million infections and more than 10,000 deaths every year in this country from diseases which are now preventable by childhood vaccines. Measles alone caused more than 500,000 illnesses every year. Measles is a highly contagious viral respiratory disease characterized by fever, cough, sore throat, and a rash. It is a very dangerous disease. About 1 in 1,000 infected persons develop encephalitis, an infection of the brain. 1 in 1,000 develop severe pneumonia, and about half of those with those severe complications die. There is no specific treatment for measles, so vaccination is the only means of preventing these outcomes. With the introduction of a safe and effective vaccine for measles in 1963 and improved public health efforts to see that nearly every child received it, new cases of measles arising in the United States were entirely eliminated by the year 2000. Unfortunately, the issues of vaccine opposition and vaccine hesitancy are now impairing our ability to effectively ensure coverage, aided by state laws that make it easier to avoid vaccination. The last decade has brought numerous outbreaks to the United States, including several that are ongoing at present. These outbreaks are strongly linked to vaccine refusal, and in particular to clustering of unvaccinated individuals in specific communities or regions. This problem is not limited to the United States, however. Countries worldwide are dealing with similar outbreaks. As a single example for the committee, there were 0 cases of measles in Brazil in 2017, but more than 10,000 cases occurred on a countrywide level in 2018 when infected travelers brought measles into that country. The vaccine against measles is very safe and very effective. One dose provides complete protection in about 93% of individuals, while a second dose raises that level of protection to 97%.
And yet RFK spends his time in the 3%. But what about the 3%? Yeah, that's how this shit works, dude. That's how science works. That's how vaccines work. Not every human is built the exact same way. The anti-vax movement, the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, it is all built in these margins of the absurd. Like whatever the overwhelming scientific consensus is, MAGA is the opposite. And that's why you have the attack on education. They dumb you down to the point that you don't know what anybody's talking about, and then you're like, things have gotten too complicated. No, Jerry, it's you chose to work at Jack's Tire and Oil when you were 18 and not get a fucking education. That's what happened. And so you don't know anything about vaccines. And that's fine. And I'm sure that your life is going well. But shut the fuck up about vaccines. That's why you don't understand them. You can't read very well. You chose to study construction management, and now you want me to think that you're a virologist? Like most of conservatism is just complaining that it's not fair that people don't take your opinion more seriously, and that your opinion is just as valid as the opinion of somebody who backs their opinion with scientific research.
Very few side effects occur. About 1 in 10
Jesus,
children
John,
experience fever
that's
for
crazy.
1 to 2 days after vaccination, and about 1 in 3,000 to 1 in 4,000 have a simple seizure associated with fever with no lasting effects. Allergic reactions are very rare and typically very mild.
Sorry, Eshel.
When compared to the outcomes of the disease itself.
Listen, I apologize, Eshel. I just think they probably didn't teach virology during your construction management degree. And so you are the expert on construction management, but maybe not virology.
It's easy to see why doctors and public health
on your first day here
universally
too
recommend on-time and complete vaccination. Unfortunately, vaccine refusal is high and getting worse in many states. This issue is complicated by the variety of state policies regarding exemption from vaccination and the methods of counseling about vaccines. The rate of parents claiming non-medical exemptions is about 2.5 times higher in states that allow both religious and philosophical objection.
Did you hear that? One more time. What? It's 2.5 times higher for the states that are like, we believe you can be religiously exempted.
In states that allow both religious and philosophical objection, evidence of seeing that multiple pathways.
I just want to know, like, if you have a religious exemption, what's he up to? How come he's not interested in you being vaccinated? What, like, more of you are dying for your religious exemption? Was God just like, hey, fuck you guys?
For exemption really worsens this problem. Social media is now driving a new phenomenon somewhat distinct from vaccine opposition, termed vaccine hesitancy. When parents get much of their information about health care issues such as vaccines from the internet or from social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook, reading uninformed opinions in the absence of accurate information can lead to really understandable concern and confusion in these parents. They may be hesitant to get their children vaccinated without being provided with more information. The role of the pediatrician is very important, therefore, with these families. We must do a better job of communicating at many levels, but particularly at the point of contact at the well-child visit when vaccination should take place. About half of the time, when counseled appropriately, parents with vaccine hesitancy will agree to have their children vaccinated on time. And the other half, little seems to help at that stage, so the solution must be earlier, either in the form of policy or broader educational efforts.
That was the part I wanted to get out there. it really is like this, what JD Vance said, what RFK is saying. It's this idea that if the education system doesn't agree with me, then the education system is wrong, and we should fundamentally change it. Like this will no doubt lead if RFK is not only
Thank you, Mr. President.
confirmed, but allowed to do what he wants to do, people will die. And here's evidence of it. This is Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii talking about something that's fairly close to him, as Hawaii has a large Samoan population on their island. Many of the citizens of Hawaii have family members in Samoa. We've told this story before, but I think he crystallizes it here. Look what happened when RFK went to Samoa just to speak. One of those speaking engagements that he made that $2 million on.
And a new story was published today about the extent of Mr. Robert F. Kennedy's involvement in the 2019 measles outbreak in Samoa, and it shot a chill down my spine. And I am not, like, that's not a rhetorical flourish. I read it, and I felt hot. I felt angry. I felt worried. We already know that he flew halfway across the world to Samoa to spread lies about the measles vaccine and discourage people from taking it. We already know that as a result, there was a measles outbreak. 5,000 people got measles. 83 people died. 79 of them were children. But I think there is a new fact here that is worth lingering on. He saw it as a great research opportunity. He saw it as a great research opportunity. He literally took an informatics expert, someone who studies how people receive information, and he took him with him to Samoa to run a, quote, natural experiment.
Yeah. He used brown people as test subjects to test his theory. Again, not a medical expert, not an expert in this field at all, an attorney and a Kennedy. He thought, maybe I could use an impoverished country full of people that look differently than me, and I'll just run experiments on them.
Studying what would happen to kids if they weren't vaccinated. And let me tell you why this is personal to me. My dad is my hero. May his memory be a blessing. And he's my hero for a number of reasons, but among them, he was a young doctor and he was reading the New England Journal of Medicine. He was right out of medical school. And he read about something called the Tuskegee experiments. And what happened in the Tuskegee experiments is that the United States Public Health Service withheld life-saving medication from African-American men to, quote, observe the disease process. They considered these men expendable. They provided half of the cohort with penicillin, which they knew would cure syphilis, and half of the men with a placebo without telling them to, again, observe the disease process. And so my dad went on the record, and Congress actually intervened many years later with Tom Harkin and on a bipartisan basis, making it explicit that the United States Public Health Service has to observe the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Do no harm. And it's a dark history for America, but a proud moment as I think of my father and his legacy. But the one thing I never thought would ever occur is that more than 50 years later, we would be at the precipice of confirming a person to run the Department of Health and Human Services who, in this era, 50 years after the Tuskegee experiments, flew to Samoa, encouraged people not to take the measles vaccine, watched 5,000 people get sick, watched 83 people die, watched 79 kids die, and said, this is a real opportunity for data collection so we can see how this plays out. I'm still a little shocked that this person isn't going to be rejected 100-0. I understand partisanship. I understand loyalty. I'm not immune to partisan pressures on my own side. But this guy's different. This guy is about to run a Department of Health and Human Services. And he doesn't have just like one weird idea about one certain aspect of public health. He's a person who has flown across the planet to cause outbreaks of diseases that are generations in our past. And to add insult to injury, he is repeating the moral mistakes of the Tuskegee experiment that has been actually outlawed by the United States Congress. And so I'll be talking about this more, but I'm just hoping that we fight about a lot of stuff in this building. But I know that there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that take their obligation seriously to provide advice and consent to the President of the United States, whether you voted for him or not, whether your state voted for him or not, that this is an opportunity to say we're a separate and co-equal branch of government. And if you're a Republican, say, listen, I support this president, but I don't support this nominee because I don't want measles or mumps or rubella or polio to make a comeback.
I think that I think what I appreciate his transparency in saying, like, I'm not immune to partisanship. It happens to all of us. We get pressure. But I don't think that whether the founding fathers designed it this way or not, I don't think it's a good design that the president comes in and can nominate whoever they want, and it is expected that that person will get pushed through. Like, Congress is supposed to act as a check. There are always going to be people that get pushed through that we disagree with. Marco Rubio is a good example of somebody who is politics I disagree with. I don't think he's terribly honest about everything, but like historically speaking, like he's on the same level as kind of everybody else, partisan wise. Like it's still a person that at least there's some faith that that person will do the right thing. Putting in somebody like RFK, like Tulsi Gabbard, frankly, Pete Hegseth, those are disastrous. Those are disastrous appointments. They will set back our federal government and the branches that they oversee. They will set them back years, maybe decades, because once they're gone, you have to then replace everybody. Everybody they brought in, you have to replace. Like, why you would put RFK, a human rights attorney, who is wrong about everything scientifically, why you would put that person in charge of HHS is literally just like Donald Trump saying, fuck you. I'm playing politics. I'm putting somebody who has no business working for this department at the head of it. It's crazy. There's no he has literally no qualifications whatsoever. The Republicans will show you the picture of him with his shirt off and be like, look, he's healthy. That's not what HHS is. He's not going to go around and tell everybody to do a keto diet and do push-ups and take testosterone. That's not his role. His role is to follow science. And we're in this administration now that says, I don't know, opinion's kind of more important than science. I wanted to address something somebody said. It was it's hard to say it, like, as we're addressing a sensitive subject. It's also hard to call you Fat Man Fattingson, but I appreciate it. I want to be, for those who are new, when I say that he wanted to run experiments on brown people, I'm speaking in his words. I want it to be shocking. I want it to come off as callous as it is. That's why I phrase it that way. And I apologize if that comes off as, well, look, that is racist. Actually, that's why you feel that way, because that is racist. Just to say it in that way, in that tone, is racist. I just want to be clear. I'm not speaking like my thoughts. I'm saying this is what they do. This is what these Republicans do. There's actions that they will take that they would never take against white people, but they absolutely will take those actions against brown people. We live in a country with two borders, and our military is on one of them. And drugs are pouring through ports of entry on both sides. And terrorists come through on both sides. And criminals come through on both sides. And yet our military is at one border, not at two. And it's because of the color of the skin of the people at that border. That's why they're there. Because our northern border, we're not keeping the stuff out either. They are there because of that. Dude, by the way, I didn't see any visa overstays in Finland. I didn't see Donald Trump threatening Finland or Sweden or Denmark with deporting people. You're telling me that there's nobody here on an overstayed visa from Finland or Denmark or Sweden? It's all countries that look different than us. So I apologize for that. I know you're kind of new, and I understand why you thought that why that felt racist to you, and I apologize. But there will be times I'm going to speak in their language, and I do it on purpose to I want it to be shocking. I want it to be a little bit jarring. So if you're still here, my apologies. If not, well then fuck you. Just kidding. Daddy says, oh wait, I read that one. Why did that update? Sully says, insert joke here. Where's here, Sully? Adam says, Dollar Train. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you. Swish dollar bill, y'all. Thank you, Dennis, contributing to the goal. Thank you very much, Dennis. I'm not going to add these up before we go. I think we were fairly close, but I'm 10 minutes over. I got to go grab my daughter. Did I get them all? I just want to make sure that I got everything. All right, I think I got everything. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining in. This is by far the most concurrent viewers that we've had here. We'll be back tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube and Twitch and sometimes TikTok, except for when they ban us. As Jen has said multiple times, if you have a current TikTok membership, most of what we'll be doing is over here, the emojis here and Twitch. So if you want to move that TikTok membership over, that'd be awesome. We would love to have you on Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow, if we're monetized on Twitch, or the following day, we'll have emojis for you. You can also use, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription to Twitch, so you can use that to subscribe to us. So it costs you nothing. If you already have Amazon Prime, you get the Twitch membership at no cost to yourself. So we'll have that ready to go. Hopefully tomorrow, but maybe the next day. I'll check Twitch right when I get off here, and I'll have an announcement tomorrow morning. Appreciate the research team for the discussions we had leading to today's show. I look forward to working with our research team the rest of this week and having a little bit more direction than we had today. But thank you guys so much. Thanks, Jen. Thanks to the moderators from Discord, from TikTok, from Twitch, and from YouTube. Thank you guys in the chat for a lively discussion. I love all of you. I know we can raid on Twitch. So is there somebody that we should raid on Twitch? Thanks, Bree. And while we're doing that, here's Bree's theme song.
Bree's trying to fuck RTP. She'll make him redder than a cherry. Bree's trying to fuck RTP. Bree's trying to fuck RTP.
Anybody on the raid? I don't see any suggestions for a raid. No, I'm going to raid Bree if you don't. Still nothing on the raids. All right, well, go see whoever you want to go see. We just raided Felice last time. Hassan, yeah. Is Hassan live right now? Tell Hassan that he needs to bring me on the show. I like Hassan. Raid me, babe. Let's raid Trump and send him to jail. No, Hassan. I was joking. I'm not raiding big creators. They're good. All right, listen. I don't know if we have anybody. Felice it is. All right, everybody. Tell Felice RTP sent you. And if I don't see you over there, I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1, right here on Twitch and YouTube. I think that's it. Everybody, stay cute and cool. Have a great summer, and take care of yourselves.